The intention of justice is to see that the guilty people are proven guilty and that the innocent are freed. Only we have a problem here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are taking a look at this case from a psychological perspective.
Fun. Everybody was...
Perspective.
Fun. Everybody was having a good time.
Does Brian Albert strike you as the kind of guy who is always having fun? No. And here's a news flash for this judge. Mental health professionals have solutions.
They made an arrest. I got the guy for Danny.
It's like a mix between sadness and anger, because that's the moment for him when he really started to believe that his mother was involved.
The only corresponding records in the other databases are from previous days.
There is a huge psychological component to what was going on here. And according to this group, Brian Albert Jr. gets like the most celebrated birthday hour of anybody ever. Like every 30 seconds, someone's like, "Happy birthday!" John totally seemed like such a cool guy.
John makes me like this.
Somebody jumps in as a journalist, draws attention to it. It's a light that is not good for the prosecution. I mean, and there are serious allegations of corruption in the DA's office and the state police.
It's not like his 21st birthday.
What happened outside was separate from anything that happened inside.
I'm going to go with this yours, because certainly I've gotten a lot of love from everybody today, which feels nice.
You are very, very loved. And I can't believe we get to spend your birthday with you. Happy birthday!
Text messages read back as if he's the aggrieved party.
Hold on. Have each of you been called murderers?
Who wants to be the one to give Matt the bad news?
I wanted to prove, or to demonstrate.
I don't know where the dog was. I didn't hear any barking. Her name is Sunny. She was named after Santino Corleone.
To the side, in the side yard.
Hey, hi, everybody. There's my Johnny. Hello. That's my Johnny.
Sunny barks if you walk by my window and sneeze. You're not really going to deny this, are you?
It's so weird. It's like the Inside Out, upside down. Narnia.
I would get at some point in a timely fashion and then turn it over.
Know if we had it enough, or we had it all, I should say.
Kill me. Not having any observable or detectable electrical activity would be asystole.
Means debt. 3 separate tab IDs. The thing he had to encourage her to do was not to testify.
You know, and Julia Albert responds to the text message from John, and she goes, "My biggest fear in life is ending up on Turtle Boy."
Stop it.
Oh, you never seen that? Oh, I got it.
You're not going to like this, though. You're going to disagree with me on
Just say it. I like the
disagreement. Okay.
Yeah, the disagreement.
People are terrified of him. They're absolutely terrified of him. And how do we know that? We know that from Mega Motion. Just another day for me, right? Which means it was just not an ordinary day for somebody else. Just when you thought you were out, they pull you back.
Karen Reed plots. She fabricates a conspiracy.
I am just a person who likes to understand. That's going to increase the likelihood that we're going to take some action.
Here she is.
My sister Jillian, yes.
It's funny. But then he's got part of his shirt untucked. His back pocket is kind of hanging out.
Has to buy that. So, has to buy that. So.
And showing solidarity, you can see them there.
It's about getting justice for John O'Keefe. There clearly is an issue of integrity.
How dare they?
Justice for all. Only we have a problem here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay! This is the I Don't Belong Here show, and I am your host, Samantha Benigno. I'm a behavioral scientist, a career psychotherapist, a sixth-year PhD candidate in clinical psychology, and hopefully not forever. And I am a master's level psychologist and counselor. And tonight is a very special night, actually, because we are going to be coming up tonight at midnight on January 29th, which is obviously a pretty big day in many of our lives. Now, it also is a big day in my life because my sister happened to be born on that day. And apparently, she shares a birthday with Brian Albert Jr., which is, I'm sure, very exciting for her. And it is also the anniversary, the 4-year anniversary of the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. So we're going to have a nice tribute for Boston police officer John O'Keefe coming up at midnight. So hopefully you guys are here still with us to see that. And there's a lot that I want to do today. My sister is going to join us so we can help to ring in her birthday. There's so much going on. I feel like with this case, with the Karen Reed civil cases, we've had motions to dismiss from the Commonwealth witnesses, otherwise known as the House defendants. We've had motions to dismiss from Brian Tully. And these are, from what I understand, from my attorney friends, that this is like standard operating procedure. Many people commented on the approach, the way in which the Commonwealth witnesses went about making their motion, that there was some inappropriate tactics, that it was it was more a public showing, right? Just wanting to basically just make their case to the public that is not exactly the way you would normally approach this type of motion. Fine. I'm sure that doesn't surprise anyone. It certainly doesn't surprise me. We also have Aidan Carney Friday. He's got a big, hopefully, we hope it happens, right? I mean, who knows? Anything is possible. This thing has been pushed back, I don't know how many times, but they are going to be actually defending their motion to dismiss finally. This has been like forever ago now, right? Think back to the mega motion. I feel like that was before Thanksgiving. It may have even been in like Halloween. It's been a long time. But that mega motion was so important. And Aidan's case is so important because it highlights the lengths that, well, it highlights two things. It highlights two things that I want to get into. Now, this case is so fun. It's just ridiculous. I've been, trying to pivot away. I'm focusing on the Banfield au pair case. I watched Brendan Banfield testify today. I have a lot of opinions about that, which maybe we can get to later. But every time I try to pivot my attention away, it's like it just something happens or nothing happens. I just happen to, I think I'll watch the sidebar video, and click on it. And then I see something and it's like, oh my God, I have to tell you guys about it. I can't just not say anything about it. And then of course, Loophole Lawyer is, reinvestigating from soup to nuts, going all the way back through moment by moment, play by play, where John is and when he's there. And that's very helpful, but it's also sort of drudging up a battle from these two sides, right? He who believes that John pulls up in front of 34 Fairview at 12:24 and however many seconds. And then another contingent, I'm sure some of you have seen Aussie Insider's amazing videos on this, that believe that he pulled up at 12:21 and change. And honestly, I have seen evidence that seems very convicting, right? That seems very certain for both sides, right? So my thought is that maybe what I'll do at some point in the coming days is we'll go through it. We'll go through both and see what makes more sense because, I'm a behavioral scientist. what I go on, which maybe sounds opposite to a lot of people, right? People want telematics and they want, physics and all that stuff is amazing, of course, but I'm not a physicist. That's not my area of expertise. Trigonometry is never going to be my area of expertise. Human beings are my area of expertise. So I trust more than anything else the witnesses, right? I trust their testimony. And that's part of why I think it's so utterly absurd that the House defendants / Commonwealth witnesses are trying to make a case that anyone ever would try to stop them from testifying. It's so ridiculous. Like, I guess they have no other way to try to make a case. And so they really have to double down on this absolutely ludicrous idea that anyone would ever try to stop them from speaking out, right? It's actually their testimonies that has given us all of the ammunition and has certainly given me all of the certainty that I have about this case, right? Because that's what I trust and what I know. And it's their behavior and their dishonesty and their contradictions and their constant just barrage of dishonest, deceptive behavior, words, testimony over and over and over and over again that causes you to not be able to come to any other conclusion, right? Like, I know that, for example, my Monday noon partner, loophole lawyer, doesn't believe Colin is in the house, right? I want to believe that. I'm like, yeah, no, I'd love to believe that. But at the current moment, there's absolutely no evidence of that. None. In fact, what I have is a growing list of reasons why he probably is in the house, right? So this is what happens over and over and over again with these people. But I have been investigating very recently when it comes to this case. I've been investigating the police, right? So my kind of focus has been on this. Is there corruption? Is there a conspiracy? And which groups of police, personally or as a whole, knew what and when did they know it, right? So that's what I'm trying to look at. The police side. And some may very much disagree with the conclusions that I'm coming to on this, but it's really, I got to tell you, it's so ironic. This is like the silliness of this. Right as I'm already coming to a lot of these conclusions, we get this internal affairs report. We get this internal affairs report. Now, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see this. This is the report that came out. So apparently, and I don't know how I missed this, because I didn't realize that Brian Tully had officially been stripped of, I guess, some of his authority, right? He'd been knocked down from detective lieutenant to just lieutenant, which to me doesn't seem that significant and anywhere near the level that it should have been, obviously. Because to me, Brian Tully is responsible for all of this. Any behavior on this part of the Massachusetts State Police, he already told us during his testimony, he was supervising from his phone. And we heard from Michael Proctor and Yuri Buchanan that they're in touch with Brian Tully all day long, right? So what do you mean you're not responsible? Of course you're responsible. You're the guy calling all the shots. This is all on you, sir. And let me not forget, he's the guy who's running the CERT team investigation that night. And the thing about Brian Tully, like this guy is supposed to be a leader, right? And you know how like head coaches, how like good head coaches, I'm thinking about NFL coaches, but any sport, any coach, like, you want to take accountability. You want to model first. You want to model the kind of behavior that you want to see from your team. And one of the things that comes from this internal affairs investigation is what a schmuck Brian Tully really is, right? Because not only does he take no ownership for anything, like he doesn't own anything, and you can hear the same language, like it's got the same tone in from the internal affairs interview. So we get to see some of the excerpts from his interviews. And then from this motion to dismiss, it's the same language of like deny, deflect, and defend. It wasn't me. I wasn't there. I had nothing to do with it. What? What? I did what I was. No, it wasn't me. No, that was Michael Proctor. That was Michael Proctor. Right? And it's just like, you're supposed to be the leader. Shouldn't you be the guy falling on the sword? Like, if you had any integrity at all, that is what you would be doing. But of course, he doesn't, and he's the schmuck of the world. So what does he do? So in his internal affairs interview, he's being asked, this is what happened. He's being asked, why is it that after having knowledge of these text messages, Michael Proctor's text messages, the way he was communicating, not only with his sister and his family members, and friends and kindergarten pals, but with other cops, right? David DeChico, Yuri Buchanan, I don't know, your partner, Lieutenant Fanning, right? Other cops about the medical examiner and about a suspect, right? About a defendant in a very high profile case, talking about how much he hates her lawyer, how I hate that man, right? Okay. So he's asked, even though you knew about that, here's this performance review that you did of Michael Proctor, and you co-signed outstanding, excellence, right? And it's all like outstanding performance in how he handles the pressure of these big cases, these high profile cases. And I guess it's Yuri Buchanan who originally does the review, but he signs off on all of it, right? And then he's the one that was rating Yuri. And so this guy is doing the question asking, and he's like, but I'm confused. Like, did you give him this outstanding report card after you knew about that? And he, of course, like, he's like, this is really what happened, by the way. He's like, well, I had signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I had to pretend like I didn't know about those text messages. And if I didn't know about those text messages, then I couldn't use them as information to inform my performance evaluation. Okay, well, that's a logical explanation. Like, I think that misses the point, though, dear, because Michael Proctor knows that you know, right? And how do we know that? Well, we know that because Fanning slips up and tells the internal affairs investigator that they go to Michael Proctor's house because, as he puts it, they are concerned that he is going to off himself. That is the concern. And they're so concerned about him, quote, offing himself, which, by the way, is language I would never use, ever, ever, ever. It is so egregiously inappropriate that a police officer would communicate to another police officer in this language. But this is the caliber and the sophistication and the intelligence of this group of police officers. And let me just remind you, we're talking about a lieutenant, right? The head of this group of cops. Fanning. They're like co-leaders, it turns out, and they have been for like the last 20 years. So they go, so this is the report. But keep in mind something important. When Brian Tully is asked about this little trip over to Michael Proctor's, he lies and he says, well, no, while we were there, I reprimanded him for his text messages. And then after that interview with Tully, they go and speak to Fanning, and he's like, it would have been so inappropriate to reprimand him for the text messages because we were worried he was going to off himself. Like, seriously, that's what we were worried about. His wife wasn't home. So we stayed there for hours with him because we were really so worried he was going to off himself. And the reason he was going to off himself is because he went into the grand jury thinking he was going to spend a couple of hours answering questions about the investigation into this case. And instead, right out of the gate, they start asking questions about his mom and his sister and text messages to them. And then I guess he was there for allegedly 6 hours and, was not in good shape when he walked out. And of course, we then much, much later have gotten reports that he did end up being in a psychiatric facility for a period of time. And that absolutely would not be surprising given everything that we know about Michael Proctor. But what this highlights is just what poor schmucks these people really are, right? And here's the thing. While I have no doubt that those taillight pieces that were found by the CERT team did not come from Karen Reed backing into John O'Keefe. And as I already pointed out, hopefully most of you saw this in one of my more recent videos, all I did was pick one of the pieces of daylight. I picked randomly, just picked a piece. There was only 4. Well, no, there's 3. Somehow 3 turned into 4 and then maybe even 5, but who's counting? I just picked one and then figured, okay, I'll just pick one at random and then trace it to see throughout the trial, like, where does this piece go? Good question. I'm still asking. According to Adam Lally and the reconstruction expert in their crime lab, the piece that I didn't see in the reconstruction and that didn't really quite make sense, given what we saw, wasn't there, but she told us it was because she read off the number that was assigned to our piece of taillight. So who knows? Because it's all bullshit. Clearly, the Commonwealth could not do anything above board, or is just, it's like the worst combination of incompetence and intentional effort to, this is where it gets tricky. Because here's the part that I don't think, and this is what I've come to, this is my belief. A lot of you are going to disagree with this, and I can't wait to hear from you in just a minute. You're going to disagree with me on this because while I know that there was nefarious intent, that they were willing to do anything to make Karen Reed guilty, they were willing to do it because they believed she was guilty. Because this is a situation, this is like everything all of us fear will happen with cops. It's the worst of the worst of the worst, right? And you're used to hearing about this stuff in like small, rural, very rural places in like Alabama, right? Communities that have been like untouched by the outside world for centuries. But not typically in Boston, Massachusetts. That's not typically the first place that comes to mind when you start thinking about this kind of police effort activity, right? But that's what it is. It's like one person has this really bad idea, but then everybody's like, yeah, no, that's a great idea. And then they just keep kind of patting each other on the back. And then they look around and they're like, why doesn't everybody agree with us? Like, what do you mean? What, she obviously did it. Duh. So, and I think there's a text exchange between David DeCicco, the trooper, and Proctor. And DeCicco's like, what's undetermined about it? Like, what do you mean? What is so unclear? What doesn't she get? What do you mean there wasn't an accident? Like, he really doesn't get it. They really don't get it. They really don't get it. Because these morons heard 3 things by 10 o'clock that morning, okay? Man down, right? Man down, cracked taillight, and Could I have hit him? Those three things. That's what happened. They heard those were the three bits of information that before they even go to the hospital, these morons have, and then conclude soon as they see one shoe at the hospital, the morons of the world. And and I want to be clear. The person who I hold most responsible for this absurdity is Brian Tully, because he's the guy who's okaying it. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Make sure you call the tow truck. Make sure you call the Dedham cops or the Dighton cops, right? Which one? Wherever I get those two towns confused. The Dedham cops, right? No. Which one is the one that Karen's parents were living in? I can't remember. Where Barros is. Make sure you call where Barros is, because I need that tow truck to get Karen's car. So they're on their way to interview, allegedly, Karen Reed, even though they're really going there to confiscate the vehicle, because he only had one shoe, guys. Duh. He only had one shoe. How does it not register that there's no broken bones on the man's body? How does it? Oh, one shoe. Like it's. Oh my God. It's so like appalling and unimaginable. But then, because number one, John O'Keefe was a police officer. Number two, they knew Brian Albert, right? Proctor knows him. He's like, are you kidding me? To little-minded Michael Proctor, Brian Albert is like, it's like meeting an idol, right? Like a mythic creature that you've heard about, like you've heard the stories, but you never really met the man. And now you're going into Jen McCabe's house, and there he is, the mythic creature, and you're going to turn to him and say, I don't believe you, sir. Can I get your phone records? No, you're not doing that, right? Nope. As tough as Yuri Buchanan is, absolutely no chance that was ever going to happen. No chance. And from that second on, and by the way, let's just give Brian Albert a tremendous amount of credit, because despite the fact that he and his family are just so bad at lying and so obviously guilty of this, so obviously, he's getting away with it. He did it well, right? He's gotten away with it so far, because, like I said, I am now of the opinion that even Chief Berkowitz believed them, because Brian Higgins is his best friend. And there's no way, given everything that we have seen of both Chief Berkowitz and Brian Higgins, that Brian Higgins was going to, like a little boy with his tail between his legs, go to his, chief of police BFF and say, I murdered another police officer. Will you please help me cover it up? And put an innocent woman behind bars with me. That's not what happened. But here's the thing, guys. They didn't need that, because they have the silver star, the secret little carrot, like nugget that nobody talks enough about. And that's brother Kevin Albert, who is operating at the Canton Police Department, flying under the radar, right? Like a mole, full-time, operating out of the police station that supposedly recused, but really was only appearing to be recused. So they didn't really need any other cops, right? Like, I'm sure some of them suspected, but who else do you need? If you have a mole, Kevin Albert, who everybody loved, everybody in that department loves, right? You've got Gallagher just like falling over himself to tell us how much he loves. He's a very good detective, right? So are these horrible cops? Yes, the worst kind, because they're too stupid to realize it, right? They really don't know, still to this day, Michael Proctor can't figure out what he did to deserve this. Worst kind. No accountability. But I don't think that any of these cops knowingly tried to put Karen in jail. I believe they believed, no matter what the evidence said, that she was guilty. As crazy as that is. So I would love to hear your guys's take on that. It took me a long time to come to that. I will just tell you, it's taken me a really long time to come to that. I did not jump on that. Yeah, I didn't jump on it easily. So I will definitely love to hear from you. Amy Law, yay! Oh my God, 7 months. That's crazy. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for being here for 7 months. I can't believe we've been here together for 7 months. Thank you so much, Amy Law, for being here with me. You are the absolute best in the whole world. I'm catching up on my email right now. So if I haven't gotten back to you yet, I am in the process. It's like happening. I'm just going through. I'm going through. So I will see it very soon. Don't you worry. Madam August Butterfly 9791 sends $4.99, says happy belated birthday, Jackie. Actually, it's tomorrow, so you're ahead. And happy heavenly my birthday, John. Heaven before we do. Oh, that's so nice. That's just so sweet. Member for 3 months. Yay! Dr. Jen Toxic. Normal moms. Just normal moms. So did you see this, by the way? Did you see that was actually in the normal moms thing was in their motion to dismiss, which I thought was really funny. Like, we're just normal moms. They're like dolls that you just like pull the string and they just say the same stuff. Like, but of course they don't even get that right. They try, but they don't get it right. It's just so absurd. Yay, we have a new member. Welcome, Judy Familare. Familari? That's a beautiful name. Welcome. Andrea Patterson, 85, sends $4.99. Do you think Brian Higgins regrets framing Karen? He must have felt terrible seeing her on TV the first time. That's such a good question, right? It's so funny how quick he was to jump on her, because that was a choice, right? Let's face it. They were all together. Those guys are together sitting in Brian Albert's kitchen, right? They're sitting around right after this all goes down. They find him on the lawn. Police, right, are no longer there. And it's the McCabe's, Nicole, Brian Higgins, Kevin Albert. They're sitting there and they have a choice. Like, at that moment, they do not have to put this on Karen Reed, but they make the decision. And it sounds like Brian Higgins was the one who wanted to jump on it, like who felt like it was their best chance to get out of this. And you know what I think? I think that they're all still in a tremendous amount of fear. And my guess, just based on what I've seen from these people, is that he probably doesn't feel regret, because it still feels like their back is against the wall. I don't think any of them feel like they're off the hook. And especially not with, what's his name? Adam Deitch, looking to run for DA. That's a very serious problem for these people, because one of the things that doesn't get brought up enough, the reason why the feds were looking into police corruption and not the death of John O'Keefe was because they didn't have jurisdiction to take over a death investigation, right? They only had the ability to look into the police misconduct part of the case. But they certainly would know. They know. They have the data They were the ones that gave the defense everything that Judge Cannoni denied their ability to get, right? So they were the ones that came in with the text messages and the phone logs between everybody. That's how they got Brian Higgins butt dialing Brian Albert in the middle of the night. They wanted to get that from Judge Cannoni, but she said, you're fishing. It's a fishing expedition. So at the end of the day, I mean, if it wasn't for the feds, Karen Reed is, there's no way she's not in jail. I can't even imagine how. I don't even see a path because of how much the Commonwealth, the lengths that they went to try to corrupt or not turn over discovery. I mean, you realize, like, it's just, it kills me even to think about, because I hear myself saying it and it just sounds like that can't possibly be true. It can't be true that the only video that the defense has going into the second trial is like the inverted copy of a copy of a copy, where there's, you know, time just pulled right out of the video when 3 cops are huddled around Karen Reed's taillight, right? Like a whole hour just clipped out. People reappearing and disappearing. I mean, it's like, this isn't really happening, is it? How are they getting away with any of this? But that's what happened. So I don't think any of them are at the point where they feel regret. I'm sure they feel regret about the way they handled any of it, because clearly it's not been good for them. Like, nobody's gotten away scot-free. Nobody. Since the day this happened 4 years ago, this group, their entire lives have been like turned upside down. And I think there's a feeling, you know, they have raised $150,000. And I don't know if you guys have seen the any of the Testify posts on X, but I did clip one in honor of Aiden Carney that I think it's like their little, it's like their 4-minute testimony of their case. It's like 4 minutes that is them laying out what their purpose is in a video. And I don't know. To me, it's just so absurd. But the whole argument from their point of view is that they were witnesses and that Karen Reed and Aiden Carney were colluding to try to get them not to testify. That's the thing, that's their argument. Their argument is that Karen and Aiden are working together to shut down Brian Albert, Jen McCabe, Matt McCabe, and Nicole Albert from speaking out. That's what they're saying. And they're like trying to paint themselves as an advocacy group for people standing up and testifying. It's just so utterly silly that it's like, really? Is this where things have come? This is where you're at? This is your best shot? But I mean, they raised $150,000, so I guess it's working. I guess. At Heather Bagwell sends $9.99, says, happy birthday, Jackee. Sam, visit Alabama. Oh, I know you're not. I absolutely know you're not. I know, like, you guys, I mean, I've only ever been just to, Alabama State. I know Huntsville, Alabama is one of the most educated. You are absolutely right. Yes, I was thinking like rural, where there's like, communities of 100 people. And no, absolutely. Actually, my stepsister lives there and absolutely loves it. So I wasn't really picking on Alabama. It was just the first state that came into my mind. But I don't know how familiar people are with this, with the US, right? Not everybody's been all over the US. And there definitely are some places, and probably even in the middle of New York State, where you're just driving for a really long time and, there's like one gas station and not very many people. And I feel like we've all heard of cases, maybe like podcasts that have come up in the last decade or so, where you have these very, very, very small departments that should not be taking on murder investigations, but they do anyway. And they wind up botching it because they never really shouldn't have taken the case on to begin with. But you get like, just, an excited cop who just a sheriff who wants to prove that he can do it, something like that. This isn't that, right? This is not a small sheriff's office. I mean, the Canton Police Department, first of all, which doesn't even deal with unattended deaths, is an unusually large police department for the size of the town. So this just isn't that, right? This should have been a very this is a urban setting. This is Boston. It's it's like, come on, what's going on here? What is going on here? How is it that this group, nobody, no, seriously think about this. Nobody from the Boston Police, the Canton Police, or the Massachusetts State Police, not a single cop walks into an office and says, have we looked at the homeowner? Have you guys pulled the phone? Did you look at the geofence data just to verify their stories? Did you look? Right? How much that's the thing. Like, these guys turned their attention so quickly away from anyone in the house. They were done investigating. It was like over, like 24 hours in. They're like, oh, we got our girl. Okay. On to the next. Oh, it's so bad, you guys. It's so bad. No, but I absolutely, Heather, I totally appreciate that 100%. Huntsville, Alabama is one of the most educated U.S. cities, ranked number 2, best performing by Milken Institute, and top 10 place to live, best place to live in the U.S. I in U.S. News, I believe it. Like I said, my stepsister lives there, absolutely loves it, and I'll tell you, I know her quality of life, having moved from New Jersey, from suburban New Jersey, according to her, is much, much better. So I have definitely heard that before, 100%. That Lemonade fan sends 99 cents. Hi, that Lemonade fan. Hi, I think I know you. Yeah, I'm not going to say it. At Chloe Albert, Q8X sends 4.99. Lifelong Canton resident. You are right about this. Very few knew. Yeah, because you got to think about it, right? Like, and I think I have to thank Loophole Lawyer for this, because he really kind of helped me to realize this is so serious. This is so serious. And my whole argument from the beginning had been, yeah, but these guys had such good reputations, or at least knew they had authority and power, right? I mean, Higgins is the best friend of the chief of police for 20 years. Brian Albert is Brian Albert. We all are familiar with who he is and the weight that he held as a police officer in this community. So my thought was, yeah, well, why not just call it in and say it was self-defense? But then it dawned on me, well, why would we do that if we don't have to? We could just use our reputations to not take any accountability at all. Why would we take accountability for something that we don't have to? And obviously, these are people who shouldn't drink alcohol. I think I've said this before. I'll say it again, right? Like, these people should not drink alcohol. They're just, you've got Chris Albert as a kid, 20 something years old, drunk driving, kills somebody. You've got the youngest Tim Albert, drunk in a car. Some girl he knows is driving her car at a red light. He rams into her and then goes home to 34th Fairview, leaving a fluid trail, drunk. And then we have Brian Albert, who apparently has a thing for getting drunk and beating up other cops. So it's like, these people, first and foremost, really should just not drink, clearly. It's like they're a menace to society under the influence of alcohol. And we've all seen Colin and how he behaves when he's drinking, right? I don't know if you've seen any of those videos. We've obviously all seen the Advantage Boys threatening videos, but he's got some other ones out there. If you start, if you have a second, just, sometime in the next few days, like Google Colin Albert videos and see what you come up with. There's some fun ones, right? Or he's like wasted, just like giving everybody the middle finger. So he's fun. He's such a fun one. But they really just shouldn't drink, right? They really just shouldn't drink. Okay, I'll take one more. I think my sister's going to be here. Heather Bagwell again sends $1.99. Who will come clean first? It's a great question. I don't know. These people are all so scared. When I went back, and hopefully some of you saw this, when I went back and I looked at that video that they released the day after the verdict, where with Matt Gutman interviewing all of them, sitting with Brian Albert in the middle. You go back and you watch that again. All I did was like slow it down a little bit, just like a tenth. And man, you start to see like this guy, they're scared of him. Like they're scared of him. So I don't know who's gonna cross him. I don't know who, none of those people, right? How can they? How can they? This is the problem with this town. This is the problem with these people. Even if Michael Proctor, whose life has been destroyed, I mean, let's face it, like he'll be fine, I'm sure. But I mean, his life has been ruined. This guy, all he wanted was to be a cop. This was like his whole identity, right? You saw him crying when he talked about not being a cop anymore. He's devastated over it. So you think, what happens if he comes clean with what he knows? Now, he only, he doesn't have, full disclosure. He doesn't know the whole story. But even if he was just to like talk about taillight pieces, what's going to happen to him? His sister, who's his quote best friend, is like essentially an Albert family member. Right? Like Julie used to be the nanny for her kids. Like, what are you going to, it's too small of a town. It's too incestuous of a town. So I don't know who breaks first. Maybe one of the kids or one of the kids' friends. That's the best guess I have at this point. Let's bring in my sister. Maybe she'll have an answer to that question. Here we go. Sissy, hi, welcome. Happy almost birthday, Jackie. We're like an hour and
thank you.
away.
Thank you. And I think I heard in the background someone else, there's a couple other people who were wishing me happy birthday. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Not quite.
It's
so
big,
soon, like an
big
hour.
Day.
Yeah.
It's so funny because January 29th, like this legendary day in all of our minds, is your birthday.
I know, it's crazy. It is weird.
It's weird.
It is weird. It's weird. I think about it. Like, I literally think about the date more in reference to this event ever since that moment, pretty much.
So nice. That's so true, right?
It's like weird. It's like there's no before. It's like, how like you can't remember like not having your kids around before having them. It's like I can't remember not knowing this date prior to that as like being this.
Right.
But it's like it's weird because it's my birthday. And I do remember that day. I remember that storm. I remember all of it.
That's so funny. Do you really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's so funny.
I do.
That is very funny. How are you? How's it going?
Good. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It was a good day. I renewed my license.
Oh, that's exciting.
It was quite a day. They always they put you through so much.
Yes.
The worst.
DMV.
Oh my God. It was crazy, but I did it. So that was good. Yeah.
Excellent.
So
done. Check.
We're good. I know. That's literally
I have to do that with my passport, but it's become a huge mess. So I get it.
That happens.
It does. So we were talking about just kind of bringing everybody up to speed. A lot going on. There's these motions to dismiss Tully, the Commonwealth witnesses. So boring, really, though.
I know.
These people, man, I just can't with these people. So, but I had been doing a lot of investigating into the cops, right? And I was just explaining to everybody that I finally had come to the conclusion after a lot. I mean, I went back through Berkowitz's retirement party and I went back through the whole thing. It's very long. It's very tedious. It's unsettling at like a really high level because it's police officers, feds, local cops, state cops, everybody from all over the place, as far away as like, Virginia, DC, at every level of government, every governmental agency, and they're all there in one room with Brian Higgins and Brian Albert, mind you, in honor of Chief Berkowitz, talking about him and telling stories about him. It's a long video. It goes on for like maybe an hour and a half. But then he gives a speech at the end. And it was after watching all of that again. I had seen it before, but it was after watching all of it again that I realized that there was no way that he was in on it, that he could not have known that he was putting an innocent woman or co-signing putting an innocent woman in prison. So my conclusion ultimately is that these police are guilty of a lot of things, and certainly planting evidence is on the list, but they thought they were doing it for the right reason. They thought they were doing it because a fellow brother in blue had fallen, and they were protecting another fallen, well, not fallen, but another brother in blue in Brian Albert and Brian Higgins.
Absolutely. Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. That would make the most sense. I don't think that anyone of those people at all was like, let's pin it on this girl. I think that they absolutely wholeheartedly trusted these people like brothers, like like I would trust you. And so if you know what I mean, if you were like, trust me, that she's like, I promise you, he did it or whatever, she did it, I wouldn't even think twice. I would believe you.
And that's exactly what happened.
With all of my soul.
That's exactly what happened.
And I would just do what you told me to do. So I'm just saying.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So think about that, right? Like Courtney Proctor and Michael Proctor are so close, and all she has to do is vouch for the family.
Yep.
And he's never going to think about it again. And he didn't.
No, he didn't. He just rolled with it.
Rolled with it. One shoe at the hospital.
Yeah, I know.
It was only one shoe. I mean, I've seen people get knocked out of all of their clothing. And I'm like, at 100 miles per hour, that's exactly what happens if you get hit by a truck dead on. You get knocked out of all of your clothing. That's right.
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
No, you can also like lose a shoe because you got in a fight or got knocked over, or a dog was trying to get a dog off your arm or your limb, or run away, whatever.
Or you run out of a house.
Yeah, you slip and you're in. What was he wearing? Sneakers, and it was like starting to be like snowy. Yeah. Who knows? You know how easy like it would be for your shoe to come your foot to come flying out of a shoe under any of those circumstances.
Yes.
With everything involved.
Well, that's why it's so absurd, right? Because he says that, and it's like he never had the follow-up thought, which would have been, yeah, but there wasn't any broken bones on him. So how could he have gotten hit so hard to get knocked out of his shoes, but then not have a single broken bone or bruise on his body below his neck?
Like all those other people that you're referring to.
Right. Like the six other people.
Yeah.
Really
right.
Four.
Right.
Which is really four.
Right.
And then you have Dr. Leposada. So I went back today. I went back. I was doing it for whatever reason, but I just listened to like 5 minutes. And it happened to be the 5 minutes when she tells us that she has overseen 10,000 autopsies. She actually says that. That's not me exaggerating. She says she has conducted at least 3,000 on her own. But then as the chief medical examiner for the state of the Rhode Island, she has supervised at least 7,000 more autopsies, right? So it actually takes her 1 hour and 17 minutes to go through her credentials.
I was going to ask you that. I thought it was like 55 minutes or something,
it's
but I knew it was
17 minutes.
It's insane. When she goes on and lists all the different like places, like the different state, and then you're going, wait a minute, 5 minutes ago, they were literally like, this judge was about to, like, she could not use that. Like, I see why she had to let her in, and they probably felt pretty good about that.
Well, one of the things the sidebars has really highlighted
I
for
love
me.
it. I can't wait till we get the next trial.
I know. Or even, the next trial is going to be the best.
I know.
And even the next witnesses, because we've got Jen McCabe and all of that. But
yeah.
But one of the things that we see in those sidebars is the same thing that you're talking about. She up until the moment La Posada, because I think she even does a voir dire, and even then,
oh yeah,
she's fighting them. She's not going to let her testify about the dog, right? And Alan gets up and he just won't have it.
I know.
He's like,
he's mad.
No. Yeah, he was mad.
She was mad too.
Well, he was right.
Yeah, of course.
He was right. And she would have that would have been a problem on appeal, I think, for her.
Oh God,
she must have seen that.
That was the most credible person in that entire trial. I think probably like on paper.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
maybe the most credible person in any trial ever.
I know, so ridiculous.
10,000 odds. Like she's like the greatest expert of all time.
I know. It's I go back sometimes and listen to it if I put it on before I go to sleep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Usually it's Jackson's closing, but sometimes there's a few where I'm like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah.
No, she was so incredible. And but that was what they did. They fought her. They fought this judge every stage of this game. Yannetti, she would say no. In this most recent sidebar that I saw with Julie Albert, she says no. And he's like, well, I hope you change your mind. And he just keeps fighting, keeps pushing her. And then she ends up saying, okay, Mr. Yannetti, we'll do it on a question by question basis. So they were winning. They were pushing her and they were winning. And, and then Dr. La Posada was, how classic was she? She wasn't going to let it go. She was going to find a way to make sure that jury heard that those were dog injuries, right?
Yes. Yes.
Which reminds me, I want to show you this. Now, okay, you guys are going to be like, why am I looking at this? But the reason is because YouTube does not like these images. And if I could show these images more often without getting penalized or hidden by YouTube, I would. So I'm trying to cover up, I'm trying to cheat the system with this image. That's the reason why it looks this way, okay? So here it is. But I want you to take a look at this. Okay, so ignore the logs. The logs are there to try to fool YouTube. This is an image of John O'Keefe's arm. And it just flashed by me. I wasn't looking at the injuries. I just saw, because I was going through different things on my computer trying to organize files. And I saw the little clip of the arm. And then I saw a clip of what would be a German Shepherd's jaw. And so I turned the image over of the jaw and you line it up with the arm. And all of a sudden you get this image of oh, I see. This is where the dog would have grabbed. And then at the same time would have had the dog's nails right here, right? So you'd have the jaw would have been attached to the middle of the arm, the elbow. And then you have the nails, right? On the left side. It's so clear what happened here, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. It's wait, that's like a perfect fit. It's a perfect fit for a jaw, and then nails, scratch, right?
Yes.
It's
I guess for
perfect
me,
fit.
I have no doubts about. I don't need to be convinced that dog made those marks in some way at all.
Oh,
and I know that it's trying to get what you're saying is just proving you're just proving it, but I'm not surprised that it would fit that easy because that is what happened, right? But what I want, what I am
absolutely,
my question has always been how does that play into what happened?
Great question.
And I just, oh God, I hope that.
Yes.
I hope that I know you were saying, or somebody was saying, who's gonna be the first one to crack? That's the kind of stuff I want to know.
Right. We all want to know what happened.
Did the dog just attack him and he fell back and hit his head as soon as he walked in because it was snowing, it was slippery. I feel okay, when you all get back from a bar, okay,
Okay.
And I can like
Listen, go ahead.
I can relive these circumstances right now because we just got plummeted with snow and
We
it's like
did,
right
yep.
out my door.
Yep.
Like just a little bit gets slippery. You get, it doesn't, it's just the retake from the shoes coming in and all, right?
Yeah.
And I could just see, and on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, they had never been to the house. So
They had
there's
never been to
two
the house.
doors. She's like out of the question. He gets out, there's two doors. Obviously, that main door, nobody uses that, nor would you use that under the circumstances of like a new snowstorm happening. So he probably was like somehow directed to that door. And I
Which
wonder,
door? Which door? The main front door or the side
I'm talking
door?
about like the side door, like the breezeway
Family
door.
room. Okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he was
Yes.
probably, maybe like he got out. I'm saying maybe he got out, wasn't sure what to do, right?
Yep.
Meanwhile, these people had just gotten home. What's the first thing you do? You take the dog out. Even if there were other people there,
That is what
the
happened.
owner takes the dog out.
He did, yes.
So maybe, I don't know what their normal circumstances are with the dog, but most people take it out back.
They did.
So I'm thinking they take it out back. They're out back. You know what I mean? Higgins is back there with Brian Albert because that's why they can't get their story straight that they were looking at pictures because they weren't looking at pictures. They were actually outside talking.
Okay, but
so
wait, time out. So how does Higgins get outside talking to John in the back? Because this is what we're talking. This is what we spend probably.
I don't know.
40 hours a week talking about.
Well, so what I'm trying to say is he's obviously there. Right?
He's there. Oh yeah.
Right.
No,
So
we're having all these fights about whether or not he goes into the house or whether or not he's out front or does he somehow get into the back?
No, he was in the house. He was just there. I think they were I think he was there with them. I don't think he did any sweeping of the driveway. That's not real.
No.
He was there. Like they left and I think maybe John and Karen didn't leave right away. That's why there's a little bit more lapse in time than like watching them all leave the waterfall. But maybe they sat in the driveway for a minute trying to figure out what they were doing and drinking their drinks they walked out with.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And maybe there was an argument stewing up or something. So about going, or there was some back and forth.
Okay. So they get lost.
Or there you go. So
they get lost. Yes.
Right. I was going to say, I think they got lost or something, right? Because then they go back around and they turn around. So there's some stuff going on in the meantime. So I think that Higgins was there already. I don't know.
He was there. He was there.
And maybe knew that they were on their way coming and was like trying to get outside to be like there in the beginning, to be like someone they both had to walk past right away. Maybe because he never got the opportunity to he tried so hard to put himself like when he was like fighting right next to her and like,
oh yeah.
So maybe, so Brian's like, got to take the dog out. So he goes out with him and then maybe they see them coming from the backyard.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so they tell him, they maybe come around the side of the house. And when John comes over to go in the house, they
oh, that's an interesting
whisper
idea.
To him.
That's an interesting idea. Wait a minute. Time out.
Around
Wait a
the back.
Nope. Time out. So this is the first time I have ever heard, and I get a lot of emails. So comments, emails, people come at me pretty much every day, multiple times a day with different theories about what could have happened. This might be the first time I've ever heard somebody suggest that Brian Higgins was accompanying Brian Albert outside to take the dog out. Now, here's a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
So first, according to Brian Albert Jr., and I'll admit this, it's been a while since I could verify this from memory. I haven't gone back through Brian Albert Jr.'s testimony. I just know that this is true, but I don't remember it. So I can't tell you if it's true again. I have to look at it again. But he and Caitlin say that they never saw Brian Higgins come in with them. So in other words, Higgins says he was there at the exact same time waiting for Brian Albert and Nicole when they show up after the waterfall, that he actually got there first.
Right.
But the kids say they never saw him come in.
Right. So if you're saying he got there first, then maybe Brian Albert's like gets there and while he's outside for doing whatever, because probably doesn't want to go in yet without them, knowing they're going to be there soon. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then he waits. And then Brian Albert says, "Wait right here. I got to go get the dog." And you know what I mean? Come out, whatever.
It could be. Could be. There also, one other thing you should know. I want to show you this, but I'll also show you the other thing. Yeah, I mean, these are the details that we're all trying so hard constantly
So, I
to
mean, think
debate.
about it. Like, why wouldn't you do, like, think if that's you. I mean, it's.
Well, so
not
there's a
really-
couple of things. This is important. This is only one. There are bruises on both hands. And they are different. So I want to just be clear. This is only one. There are two. He's got bruises on both of the backs of his hands.
Mhm.
So the only place that he has bruises is on the backs of his hands. Now, the Commonwealth tried to claim that it was from an IV at the hospital, but the problem is John O'Keefe is very dead by the time he gets to the hospital. So the likelihood of a lot of blood rushing to the site of the IV doesn't make any sense. So these, to me, the bruises on the backs of his hands, to me, are evidence of a fight. In addition to the cut on the eyebrow, the cut on the nose. So to me, this idea, because lots of people have asked, could he have just gotten attacked and hit his head? To me, the answer to that is no, simply because of these bruises. If these are not there, I might be able to get behind that. It doesn't make any sense. It would be absurd for them to do that because it was not their fault. A dog was the responsible party. And in that case, yes, Brian Albert would be responsible, but, you know, he didn't do it on purpose, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, that would just be talk about bad decisions. That would have been the bad decision, the worst of all time. So clearly there was something else that happened based on the fact that they didn't come clean about that.
Or they were outside and they all walked him directly into the garage.
Yeah. So we talked about that. We've certainly all discussed that. The problem with that is why? Because there's no entrance to the garage from the house. You would have had to go out the front and into the garage
to get him alone.
Why?
Like, I don't know. Same reasons we all would think.
But see, this is important. This is actually something that came up for me recently on my last week's live. So, and I definitely want to hear from everybody else on this too. So here's a problem. Brian Higgins did not know that John was going to be alone. Right. So we see them at the bar.
That's a really good point.
He didn't know that Brian. So like, we know he's
maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. Maybe he's trying to get him alone to ask him to see like what, like if there's any, I don't know. And maybe he just tries to get him alone to see if there's any like bad blood or if animosity towards him. And I think, maybe that went bad for some way. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with ideas.
The idea that like
arguments that might make sense.
The idea that he was threatening John doesn't make sense to me because he would have
threatening, but a reason to get him alone.
Yes, but
I don't know. They were drunk. I mean, they were drunk. Think about it.
They were drunk. You're right.
I can't even remember the last time I got really drunk and what I really can't at all. Not even close.
You're
but
right about
I do know that it's something that like who knows how these idiots would respond. That's why it's like it's probably an irrational. It probably isn't a rational thing that. Well, that doesn't make sense. It probably doesn't make sense.
No, I know it because
but
of
most of it, I think we figured out. I would imagine that we have figured it out. I think all the time, if I was Brian Higgins and I had nothing to do with this, then I would be like, I'd be talking. I would be expressing myself.
But he doesn't.
Right. That's what I mean.
Oh, no, he has something to do with this. 100%.
Yeah. He's the quietest.
Oh, he is. When I tell you that this guy oozes guilt, you've never seen anything. It's like the most clear consciousness of guilt anyone has ever seen.
He should
magic. Does that say
give himself in?
Michaelina? Does that actually say magical Michaelina? Doesn't it?
It says magical.
Could that be Michelle?
Michelina?
I don't know. I've never seen.
It looks like to me, but
I guess
don't
it could
know.
be Michelina. Magical Michelina 75 is a new member. Yay! Welcome. Kitty is a beautiful cat.
I know that's a cute picture.
Andrea Patterson became a new member. We just saw Andrea. That's amazing. Excellent. I think I know who this might be. I have a feeling. I don't know if anybody knows who Ian is, but I know who Ian is.
I do too.
Thank you very much, dear.
She's
At
cute.
Ricky V sends $10. My theory: why McAlberts are protecting Higgy. Higgy has Chief Burke in his pocket, so that's a good. I like it so far. Family style. Chief is high level. He is, and has authority with other PDs. Kevin Albert and Brian Albert, clout not enough. That's a really good point, right? Like he did well, and there must have been some culpability. There's no way that this whole thing was just to protect Brian Higgins. That seems just insane. Like if you're Brian Albert and you make the decision that, in other words, if Brian Higgins does this all by himself and you come outside and there's a dead police officer and Brian Higgins is standing there and you torture your entire family to protect Brian Higgins, like that's insane.
To throw one of your fellow members under the bus. I don't know, man. While they're drunk, though, they're not thinking all this through. They're thinking illogically and irrationally.
You're
in
right.
the moment. And
That's
under
true.
all the other, and once they made that decision, that was it. So it's not like, they didn't have that much time. There was a lot going on. They probably had to make a lot of it was probably would have been it was probably like a real life movie situation where they did have to hide it from some people that were there. They did have to do hide them in the basement or hide, not let anyone in the garage or do something put the dog in the cage until, I don't know. I just something.
Dog exits the property very clearly.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely. No, but this is a great point, though. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's sort of like Jen McCabe has this great role, too, right? She's so resourceful. I mean, how important has Jennifer McCabe been to this whole thing? She ends up, basically convincing Carrie Roberts, the O'Keefe family, gets them so close that if the feds or any other law enforcement ever goes near them to tell them the truth, they're insulated from it.
Yep.
Like the first call is going to be to Jen to let them know, oh my God, these terrible feds are here and they're saying that you did it. Because they'll never believe it. They'll never believe it.
I know.
Never, ever,
it's
ever,
so
ever.
Weird.
It's so horrible. Can you imagine?
It's just weird to think like that.
Horrible.
That could be true.
What do you mean?
Colin in the garage smoking.
Oh. So you know what? Bite my bits. Thank you for your $2. Colin in the garage smoking, of course. Yeah, I absolutely have said that many times. Colin in the garage.
They were all smoking cigarettes when they were drunk. All those. Come on.
Well, Colin.
Yeah.
Oh, Colin.
Yeah, but I'm saying right. But I mean, they all could. There's so many scenarios where they could easily be in the garage, and then I know there's some people that don't think that Colin has anything to do with this, but I think he does.
Someone needs to show me evidence. Like, here's the problem, okay? There's absolutely no evidence that Colin isn't there. If there was, there's an intersection with cameras focused directly at it, and we're staring at that intersection at the exact time that we're supposed to see Colin driving home with Allie. Those cameras are literally focused at the intersection. I've never seen it. Have you ever seen Allie's car at 12:10 or whatever time they're saying that she was picked up? Of course not, because she's not. Their screenshots are. Have you seen the screenshots? So I've shown them before, and then people have taken them, and I mean, some of the mistakes are just silly mistakes.
Oh, yes. I've seen a few that were pointed out and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, it's so obvious. Yeah, totally.
Like there's a comma. It's like there's it's like PM comma.
Yeah.
No, that's not the way it appears on your phone. It's so silly. But yeah, Allie clearly she just wasn't there. She just wasn't there. So somebody needs to come with evidence that he was there or wasn't there for me to believe he wasn't there. Because to me, I don't see how he gets off that property. Clearly, we know that any interaction that they all claim they had didn't happen. The one that Colin claims he had on the stand, bye, auntie and uncle,
It's so ridiculous.
Good Toodaloo,
This
it's
dude
like,
thinks he is the coolest guy ever, and he does not talk like that at all. He didn't
oh my
even know how.
God.
He couldn't even fake it good. I can't even rewatch it. It's so uncomfortable. And I'll tell you, I'm telling you, there's one reason why I will have a very hard time ever changing my mind, and that's because I'm telling you, I felt that kid's guilt with my own energy. I mean, just me and you going in to the pizza shop just to like, kind of do some scoping. Like, why wouldn't we when we're there? Like, Chris Albert's there. Oh my God, weren't expecting it. He was very nice to us. Let's try the pizza. Next thing you know, Colin Albert's in and out, and he just thought something about me and you was skeptical, and he looked so guilty. I mean, he literally made me feel like I was the feds, and because like he was running away, put the hoodie on,
he's paranoid,
books to the car, rips by in the car,
I know.
looks over at me when he drives by, and then I literally, it was so bad he couldn't even be discreet about the way he was hiding himself. So paranoid. It was one of the hottest days of the year, and
he's in a full
this
hoodie.
dude is in a full black hoodie. It was just it was right. It was during the trial. It was just really,
It was
to
right
me,
before the end of the trial, I think, wasn't it?
if I was being accused of something and I was someone like that, he would be all over social media right now, screaming at the top of his lungs that he doesn't know anything. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't know how that's not true. I don't care what any lawyer says.
I know.
If these people have no need for that, if they're really innocent, no one's accusing them. If anything, speak up. So that is why. And why would they give information? The only reason someone like Colin Albert has information is because he was directly involved. They're not going to, or if he happened to open the door and see something. But even then, it's like.
Well, how about the fact? Did you see that? You probably didn't see it because I just put it up today. Did you see the sidebar analysis I did with Julie?
No.
Okay, because it just came out. Literally.
I saw that you put it up, but I didn't watch it yet.
So it's just only a second. It's like literally. You'll remember it. I mean, it was very, very memorable. It's the moment where he's doing a Q&A about the phone calls with Courtney Proctor before and after the arraignment. So there's 3 phone calls before 9 a.m. between Julie Albert and Courtney Proctor. The arraignment ends at like 10:50, and then there's a half-hour call between Courtney Proctor and Julie Albert. And so the whole point of the exchange is that Yanetti's trying to get her to admit that they were talking about the case. And in doing that, he asks, like, are you close to her? Do you talk to her? She's like, mostly we text. You'll remember this. And he's like,
I do. I remember.
He's like, how often do you talk on the phone? She's like, oh, very rarely. And then he's like, what? Excuse me? 67 times between, whatever, March and October, that, rarely. But the whole point is that they're talking about the case, right?
Right.
But in that exchange, Yanetti's walking her through, and he's like, this was big news in the Albert family, right? And she's like, oh, yeah. And, she's shrinking. She's like shrinking. She's frozen and shrinking. So that's really important. She is literally in a full-blown fight or flight response. She's an anxious person anyway, so we'll give her that.
Very much so.
Very anxious, correct. Very anxious woman. And she's in full-blown fighter. I mean, she can't move. Her body is frozen like this. She's not moving. She's barely moving her head, and her eyes are like, she's frozen. Okay. So she's frozen and she's shrinking. And now she's like, well, yeah, because now she's like a little girl. She's in trouble because he's scolding her because you're talking about the case to Courtney Proctor, right?
Right.
So she's focused on that. He's focused on trying to get her to admit that they were playing go-between between Michael Proctor and the Alberts, that she was using Courtney as a go-between. That's the whole goal. But in that, he's like, so you were talking about this with your relatives? And she's like, well, yeah. And then he's like, you're talking about this with your friends? And she's like, Well, I don't know about my friends. Wait. What? Like, hold the phone. Wait a second. And it was very honest. Like, she clearly wasn't
Right.
doing that for, right? She was clearly like reacting honestly. And it's like, wait, Julie, wait. Wait, let me get this straight. So, why wouldn't you speak about this incident? You guys are innocent. You have nothing to do with this. And there's a moment before that that I won't tell you, but it's another moment where she freezes because he says, well, your family's directly involved. And you see her and her face turns white. And she's like, what do you mean?
Right.
And he's like, well, your brother-in-law is Brian Albert. And she's like, oh. This is what actually happens. This is not.
I gotta watch it again.
This is what happens. And I'm like,
that's a tough one for me to watch because it's just for a lot of reasons.
Jackee, how are we supposed to walk away and think, oh, Colin never was there? He wasn't there.
Of course he was there.
You walk away and you think this woman is scared to death that her son is about to be exposed for being involved in the death of a police officer. What do you mean you wouldn't talk with your friends about this, Julie? Why not? What are, why? Why? That's your brother-in-law. So what? So Karen Reed backed into a police officer who dies on your brother-in-law's lawn and you won't talk about it with your friends? Why?
Yeah.
Isn't that something you would talk about? Like, that to me is like, that's something we would all gossip about. We'd be like calling our neighbors, like, holy shit, did you see what happened? Oh my God,
Right.
Why wouldn't I talk about it unless I'm trying to hide something about it?
Obviously.
Oh, these people, man. It's so brutal. It's like, of course I know that they are guilty, but it still kills me every time I think about it.
That's how I feel. And there's always so much. It's so obvious. It's frustrating and there's so much to it. The only thing one of the things about this case that bothers me so much is that it's like I love the more people that know about this, like everybody should know about this. But it's so hard to explain because when you try to give the story, there's no way, because basically what you're doing is you're giving it's hard not to start with sort of, oh well, so these two people went out and you sort of give the story of the prosecution, and it sucks. Like, in order to tell the story, well, this guy died, to make it quick, and everyone is like, oh come on, she must have done it. Like, and I'm like, okay, just at least do yourself at least watch either, Turtle Boy's like framed videos or the 5-part Body in the Snow, or you have to put in at least 3 hours of content.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You're absolutely right. Cause I've been going obviously back and forth with Loophole Lawyer, and he's forcing me to relitigate things that I've already made my peace with 6 months ago. But then I'm like, wait, why did I come to that conclusion? And how did I come to be so definitive about this thing? And it's like, you got to go back 400 steps to go back to the place of like, how did I get to that?
You do. That's the thing with this case. That's why this case is so different than any other case. I mean, the fact, trying to explain to people that the lead detective on this case got literally barred from being in law enforcement in the state of Massachusetts because of this case.
Yeah, it's so funny.
It's so people don't understand. They're confused because that doesn't make sense to anyone, because logically, okay, well then the case would be thrown out on or it wouldn't,
That's certainly true.
But it's like that. It's just, so you just even explaining why, and then having to get into that, and that doesn't even have anything to do with any of it.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the story. Michael Proctor did not kill him.
No,
you know what I mean?
It had nothing to do with the death of.
No, he thought that his crazy girlfriend, because she's crazy, because
she's a nutbag,
because she shows emotion. She's crazy. Oh my God,
no,
she's a nutbag.
She's a nutbag. Like, she's
crazy. She's the most normal human that I have ever seen involved in this entire story.
She's the most predictable, certainly, of everybody.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, her behavior is the only one that makes sense.
Right. Exactly. And I get so angry when people bring that up. Like, using the messages, the 56 million calls or whatever over the time as a reason for her guilt. I'm like, dude, what?
No, you obviously don't know anything about murderers.
But that's right. But that's what's scary. That's scary.
It is
That's scary. Like, I'm so, it's really, I feel good that I feel like everyday people are getting a lot more educated, because these are the people that are on juries, and it makes me really nervous. And it's really important to, like, the younger people are really getting onto it more, but even just understanding the whole system. I mean, a lot of people don't even understand that you get arrested by the police and prosecuted by, the DA and, like, the state, essentially.
What the relationship is between the two.
And then you have to hire a defense attorney. And if you can't hire one, you get one from the public defender's office.
Right.
I mean, this is all basic stuff, but yet any of these people, anyone that's 18 or above, could go sit on a jury.
No, you're absolutely right.
Those are the people that hear the story out the gate and vote on emotion or need an outcome. It's like, your job isn't necessarily to
100%,
have an outcome. Like,
no, let me get to some of these, and we'll continue this. So, Twigs the Gemini sends $5, says, in the garage smoking marijuana. Yep. Colin.
That's
he
a good
never
point.
came inside the house. Okay, so that's interesting. That is a true statement technically, or by technicality. So here's the thing, Twigs, and this is
That's
why
a good point.
This is why I can't. This is why I keep going in a loop and I can't get settled on 1221 or 1224. This is why, because in my mind, even if they technically believe this, like, even if I'm on the stand and I'm like, well, he was in the garage, technically that's not the house, but I know he was in the garage, it's still deception. So either way, I can't discern whether that means that they're lying because he was in the garage or lying because he was really in the house. And it's driving me crazy, because I just want to know, did this man go into that house and down those stairs? And here's I'll tell you, it's Ian Whiffen. How ironic is this, by the way? It's Ian Whiffen who tells us that John starts moving. This is a true story. Ian Whiffen. John's phone starts moving in a westerly direction towards the house. And then the accuracy of the geolocation data declines. Now, why, Ian, would there be a decline in accuracy? Well, if the signal is blocked by a structure like a house or a garage. This is actually an exchange. This isn't even me just like ad-libbing. This is like what happened, right? So you're saying, so let me get this. So if John didn't go into the house, then the accuracy of the location data should never have declined, right?
Right.
Phone accuracy declines if it's moving or if it's inside a house,
right?
In a structure that blocks the signal, right? So clearly, John is moving. This is Ian Whiffen towards the house, and then the signal accuracy declines rapidly for the next 6 hours. It goes back and forth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Oh, it's tremendous. It's Alessi helps really pull it out. It's an Alessi cross with Ian Whiffen.
Okay.
But he spells it out absolutely perfectly. And I remember that day, because this was the day right after on News Nation, there was this like the guy, Jesse
Weber.
Yes, Weber. Thank you. He was, this was a big day for the prosecution. And he was talking about Ian Whiffen. And all I could think about was like, whoa, wait a minute. Did you hear what Alessi said? Like, it was so obvious at the end. He just got.
I remember at the end when he got him to say, he was able to get him to say that he wasn't in the house, or that he could have been.
He could have been in the white circle.
Been in the circle, right?
In fact, It was just as likely that he was in the white circle in the house as it was that he was by the car.
Right.
Right. And but the fact that the accuracy of the phone data declined so rapidly, and that he had been moving in a westerly direction, So he's moving towards the house, and then the accuracy declines. What does that
Wouldn't
tell
that
you?
suggest he went in the house?
It suggests he went in the house, right? So he either went in the house or he went close enough to the house, kind of like Twigs is saying, right?
Right.
So that, like you were saying earlier, could he have been in the backyard? Could he have been in the garage? Could he have been in the basement? He could have been in any of all those places. The only problem that I have, Twigs, with this, and this is what you're pointing out, I have a hard time with everybody. Julie Nagel, definitely. She'll do anything for them. She's as much a lock for the Alberts as any person ever was. She's like bleeds there. Whatever color that is, that's what she bleeds.
Of course. They're also young people and they are easily
the
persuaded by these people.
Lying is hard though. It's hard to do. And like Sarah Levinson, she's like pretty convicted about the fact that she doesn't see John. And that's really hard for me. It's hard for me. Lying is hard. And you know, it's hard to do. It's hard to do.
I don't think that's a lie.
Well, that's the whole point. Because how then does he get into the house and half of the people in there don't see him?
There's a million reasons why. Because he doesn't really go in the house.
Tell me what they are.
He doesn't go in the house. He goes in with the people smoking, like in the garage.
Could be. Right. No, he could be. I mean, he could have gone into the garage. Sure.
And then most likely hits his head where they threw all that red paint.
That certainly could have happened. Yeah. Well, I mean, that is kind of, now I will tell you, I am on the side that he never makes it into the actual structure. That is kind of where I've been. I sort of have been all over. I've been in the basement. Also, I should tell you, I don't know if you were here for this, but you know, the family room, you go in that, okay, the door you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
The family side door. Mm-hmm. So you go in that door. That's where the pictures are, the shelves with the pictures that Nicole was talking about. But if you keep walking straight through that room, it's a slider into the backyard. Like you don't have to go into the kitchen to go outside right through that family room.
Right.
Is there not walked straight out into the family?
Is there not, and also, so is there not another door to get in the backyard from the garage?
I don't think so. No. I think you have to. Okay. I think the garage. I don't know that. I've never seen that, and I don't think so. Okay. If anybody knows about that, definitely let us know. And also, Ginny's been a member for 4 months. Oh, yay, Ginny, you've been with me for so long. Does anyone know how Brian Higgins' sister died? Oh my God. I think she died of cancer.
Yeah, he said it. Doesn't he say cancer?
I think she died of cancer. Yeah. Yes, she died of cancer.
I believe so.
All over. Right?
Yeah.
I think she died. Is that his father or his
I don't
sister?
know the details, but I think his sister died of cancer.
Wait,
I could be wrong.
His father died of cancer during COVID.
Okay.
His father died of cancer during COVID. I do not remember why his sister died, but his father definitely died of cancer during COVID. And it spread. His father's cancer. It's a good question. I've thought about it a few times. I've thought to ask, and we don't ever hear from him.
Oh, really? I don't know why
it's him because it's his father. Okay. When he's talking to Karen about in their texts, he's saying that his father died during COVID. She says, "Oh shit, from COVID," and he says, "No, cancer. It spread." And she's like, Karen says, "Yeah, it's the worst. Losing people is the worst."
Yes. I remember that totally.
Oh wait. Did I miss somebody? Daisy Duke, right? Or Daisy Duck. Daisy Duck. Sorry. Daisy Duck. Welcome, Daisy Duck. It's a cute picture. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I don't know. We're gonna find that out. And happy birthday, Jackee, by the way.
I know, right? Yay.
Happy birthday, Jackee. Twigs the Gemini sends $2. Colin was a witness to Higgins waiting outside. Why do we... Yeah, I mean, certainly they could have been out there together, right? The truth is that if Colin, it's a really good point. If Colin had been outside, though he wasn't in the way that he claims, I mean, it just kills me, right? Like the egregiousness of the lying, like it's like it really blows you away blows you away. It makes me angry. If you want to get mad about this, go watch Colin. You don't even you could be like, your job could be any job on the planet. You spend about 4 minutes watching Colin Albert testify, and no matter who you are, if you're human, you're going to walk away going, that kid is so full of shit. Like, I don't know why, but he's as full of shit as the world has ever seen.
Yes, very much so. He doesn't remember anything.
No. And some of it is like
anything.
really obvious stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
That you're like, wait, did you get in the passenger side? I don't remember.
Probably told him, if you don't want to answer something even the slightest bit, just say I don't remember.
Well, no, that's what they were all told. But the problem is that I think Lally was a little surprised. Honestly, my take is that Lally overestimated that they were innocent. So when Lally went into the trial, he gave them all of these chances to correct their testimony, thinking that they would. So, for example, he's just brought out all these people that Nicole, Brian, Caitlin, all of them are telling us that they see Colin like coming through the front door. They come in the front and then they're seeing Colin on the way out. Well, then Colin testifies that he's, he only sees his aunt and uncle, doesn't see Caitlin. He goes out the side door. All these things are just totally different from what they have just said. But he keeps trying to give them the chance to correct it. He doesn't want to draw a lot of attention to it, because then it raises a red flag to the jury. But he keeps giving them these chances. And I think what actually happened was Adam Lally assumed that they were telling the truth. He didn't realize that they were going to be so defensive and so double down and so full of shit. So he, was really dancing at the end, like trying to figure out how to get around a lot of this, because I don't think he expected it. I don't think he saw it coming. I really don't.
Probably not. Probably not.
They were telling the truth.
Most of them.
I think he thought that they were. I think Adam Lally thought they were telling the truth. I don't know how, but
Adam Lally is so emotionless. I just have a hard time even I don't know. It's a tough one.
These guys, it's so hard to, but they think that they're doing this for the family. Like for Hank and Adam Lally, they think that they are doing right
absolutely
by the O'Keefe family. So that really entitles them to behave however that they want, really, however they feel like they have to.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
You got those people in your corner, and then you can say and do whatever. It doesn't.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good point.
And sleep well at night, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got the O'Keefe family saying, good job.
Yes.
It's very scary. Sunshine Love 22-1 is a new member. Yay. Welcome, Sunshine Love 22. I know I'm so behind you guys. Oh my God. Gail Brennan 6166 sends $1.99. Thanks for your super sticker, Gail. Whoa, Gail Brennan. Hello, Gail. Sends $20 too. Brian Higgins pulled the dog off of John during a fight between Brian and Colin. Whoa. Okay, let's rewind. Brian Higgins pulled the dog off of John during a fight between Brian Albert and Colin Albert. We're talking about in a different time?
That doesn't make sense.
That's got to be what this reads, right?
I think so.
So
what happens to John? How does that involve John?
This might not. Are we even talking about the same? Brian Higgins pulled the dog off of John
during a fight between
Brian Albert and Colin Albert. In what interview? Well, you certainly have got my interest, Gail.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. I have no idea what interview you're talking about.
I'd like to know more too.
I'm very curious to know what interview that is. I wonder what you and everyone else makes of this whole plow situation, which we'll get to. And Gail, you got to give us more information now. Now you've got us all.
I know,
like,
right?
This is crazy.
I know.
Okay, so at Ricky B sends $2. I thought Julie was implying CP, the Courtney Proctor, is family plus 67 calls. So it's kind of, I think Julie, you have to like Julie's point was kind of twofold. And this is part of the thing. Like both of them are so focused on the things that they're trying to like get across that she's not focusing on how it comes across, what she's like, how these other things are going to come across. That's why they kind of leak out, right? That's what happens when people are trying to hide stuff. You're so focused on this thing you're trying to hide that all these other words slip out that you're not paying attention to. And that's how that's what leakage means. It means I'm so focused over here. And this actually happened to Yannetti too. I think had Yannetti not been so focused on trying to get Julie to admit that Courtney was acting as a go-between, and Courtney was trying not to say that. So you have Courtney trying to not imply that at the same time as Yannetti is trying to get her to imply that. And it comes out in like the worst way possible, right?
Yeah, everything she says does.
Yeah, that's right. Everything she says does. That's exactly right. Because it doesn't make any sense, right? She's saying, I only speak very rarely, 67 times. So what does that mean then? That means that Courtney Proctor she's not a friend. She's so close that she's family. Right? I mean, she's backed herself into a corner both ways, either way, but just the way it came out was very genuine in that moment. Like she really meant that. Well, I don't know if I was talking to my friends. It's
right.
Like, wait a minute. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you be talking to your friends? Why would you say it that way? Right? You didn't do anything wrong. Who the hell cares who you talk to about this? Karen Reed backed into John O'Keefe. You had a headache. You were home after the waterfall. Your son was home by 12:30. Julie, what do you care? This is what gets these people in trouble. This is why I love when they talk. I really do. But I can't even imagine like how anyone could ever say that we wouldn't want to hear more from them, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's true.
True.
Yay,
Someday.
Bite My Bits gifted a I Don't Belong Here membership. Thank you so much, Bite My Bits. That's awesome. We got a bunch of new stuff coming up for members too, so stay tuned for that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do a whole like member series. So that's on my list of things I really got to do.
That's fun.
Oh, yay, Kid Gracie became a new member. Oh, that's so exciting. Yay. Okay. CC Headband Cupcake Law Nerd.
That's cute.
It's awesome. Sends $4.99 solely
It
based
is.
on NACA's and Nicole and Colin's dramatic story of running into Colin in the foyer as he was leaving. They contradict each other. Yes, I know. It screams he was there. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it does.
And it's crazy too, because it's like, wouldn't you rehearse this? Like, don't you think if this bothers me too. Like you would think if your family's trying to cover up a murder that you'd get everybody in the room and you'd be like rehearsing the testimony. You just like make everybody sit there and just rehearse it and rehearse it and rehearse it. Does Colin know his part? You know, like you would not let them leave the room until everyone knows exactly what they're going to say. Right. And everybody screws it up. Everybody. Caitlin's, for whatever reason, Caitlin is lying and telling us that she's with her fiance at the time. She's with Tristan coming from Easton to meet them at the waterfall, even though really she's at the house and picked up by Julie as per Julie's statement, as per the word of, Sarah Levinson and Julie Nagel, who have nothing to do with anything. And then Nicole's trying to, in a, really low commitment style, trying to put Caitlin with Tristan. Why? I started thinking, I was watching Tristan again. I was like, maybe Tristan did it. Maybe Tristan did it. I was like, what is going on with Tristan? Like, what is going on? This guy, have you ever seen? And I can't with him.
I don't know. I think he was just like, I don't want to be here.
That's what it,
That's
then
he walked off. Like. He's like, now I gotta marry this girl.
Yeah. Right. Well, now he had no choice, right? Now, right. Now he's like, I know about a murder. We're getting married.
They're gonna kill me. Yeah, the Brian Albert's gonna come kill me if I don't.
Yep, that's what happened there.
And
It's a
Jen
great way to
McCabe.
start your
What?
I'll tell you though, if you're federal law enforcement and you want to crack anybody, that's the guy.
Yeah.
You go right, you
Yes.
knock on that kid's door, and within 20 minutes, under like some pressure, he's cracked all over
Well,
the
that's
place.
why I think that they probably don't know much. They probably were told something that happened, and because they don't really know, they have no other reason but to believe that to be the truth, maybe.
You mean Tristan and Caitlin?
Yeah.
Oh no, they took
Yeah.
the dog. They had to take the dog off the property. They had to.
Yeah, you're right.
They had
That's
to. There's
true.
nobody else that could have. Like, I
That's
mean, I don't know if
true.
Tristan was there, but he's Caitlin's. I mean,
It would make
Caitlin's
sense
bringing the
because
dog.
they're not going to want her to be by herself with that dog while she's driving.
Right.
The other thing is, you know what I was thinking? I guarantee you, this is some sort of like crazy police isn't it like some retired police dog? Brian Albert
It wasn't.
probably
It wasn't. Go ahead. I don't think it was.
Regardless, there's a very high probability that Brian Albert, being who he is under the circumstances, could have had some like a something to knock the dog out with.
Oh yeah, I could have hit the dog or shot it or something.
No. Like like to put it to sleep. Say if you were to bring your dog on an airplane.
Oh yeah, okay.
So
sure.
maybe maybe that's how anyone was able to get. Because I know a lot of people make comments that only Brian Albert could have gotten the dog out without it killing people or attacking people or something.
It would have had to have been a family member.
But I'm saying it's possible the dog could have been asleep.
It's possible, but I think the reason why I also think it was her is because and it's hard to say because the Albert family, their immediate instinct was to protect all of the kids, and so they kind of systematically denied anybody's presence. In fact, I think in the very first night, they may not have even mentioned like the birthday party. Like it was so the very first instinct was like the kids weren't here,
right?
You know, and then it quickly became like,
That's true.
okay, no. And the very first statement, I believe Caitlin is left first. They have her leaving at like 12:15, Caitlin. And then later they have her leaving at last at 2.
Well, that's a big difference.
I know. And in my estimation, that dog attacks him and you got to get that dog off that property, right? I mean, they had to get the dog out of the house. They just had to.
Yeah, they had to.
Because the dog isn't there. I mean, frankly, the dog is either dead because somebody shot it or it's not there. I mean, there's no other option. The dog is not there. We would have heard that dog. There's absolutely no chance. I mean, they didn't tell us they muzzled the dog. They didn't tell us they knocked the dog out.
Right.
They could have. It would have not been believable, but nothing they say is believable. So that's not stopped them so far. Instead, they try to tell us that the dog is there in the closet. Right? What do you mean you didn't hear that? And that's after Brian Albert is telling investigators that the dog didn't like people. The dog was barking the night before. The dog barks when there's people. He doesn't know. It's like, so there's an army of people on your front lawn at 6 a.m, and your German Shepherd, whose only sole purpose in the world is to protect you and bark when there's strangers on your lawn, and dog isn't barking and nobody hears the dog
and
bark.
It's a really small front yard, by the way. People do not let
these pictures,
these weird views.
God,
I can't. It's smaller than you think.
It's so small.
For people who haven't seen it, once you see it,
it's so small, you guys.
It just solidifies so much that there's no way, even to the point where when I rewatch this Lifetime movie, I crack up at how they went above and beyond in the scene when they're out there in the movie, all the ambulances, and they like really went above and beyond to show how insane it really was.
Oh, they did. They tried to make it seem like really insane.
Yeah, I went and watched it again, and I was like hysterical laughing because I could not believe it.
Okay, wait, I gotta. So This is really
way.
interesting.
Oh,
Bite My
I did
Bits.
not know that. I didn't
I
know
think
that.
I may have, now that you've said it, I think I may have known that because
Oh,
I
yeah.
did read Kevin's book,
Yes,
but I forgot.
wasn't it a fentanyl
I
overdose?
think it might have been.
And doesn't he say that?
I think it might have been.
I've heard this. He says he refers to her as a fentanyl
Casualty?
issue or something. I don't know. Another like epidemic.
Right.
That's something. I think maybe he uses the word epidemic, like fentanyl epidemic or something. I don't know. I remember now.
That
But
is
this is
yes.
vague to me. This is vague, but yes, okay.
It's very
That's
vague,
right.
but you're definitely
He brings that up somewhere. I feel like it might even be on the stand, but I don't know why that would be a thing.
I feel like I
Where
would
did I
remember
hear
that.
I don't remember where it was, but I've heard it. Refer to the fentanyl epidemic or something.
Well, it's challenging because that's also what, not surprisingly, killed John O'Keefe's sister's husband was opioids.
Oh, it was?
You knew that. Yes. You know how they say, you know who I'm talking about. You know, John's sister who had brain tumor.
Yes.
So they were like, oh, he died of a heart attack. The story was he died of a heart attack, but Hank Brennan outs it on the witness stand that in the text exchange between Proctor and all of his kindergarten friends,
yes,
he tells them that he OD'd. It's actually, I think, how the children found out, how John O'Keefe's niece and nephew found out.
Okay.
From what other people have said, I obviously don't know them well enough to be able to say that, but that's what I've heard. That's what outed it publicly.
Well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. I didn't know until then. I had no idea that he died of an overdose. But by the way, none of this is surprising. I mean, this is this community, right? Like, think about it. It's addiction. Like, it's like the alcoholism that we're dealing with in this story is front and center for me.
Oh, yeah. It's often forgot.
What'd you say?
It's often sort of forgotten or gets lost or overlooked.
But Bite My Bits, that was another part of Kevin's book, right? That's one of the things that Kevin Lenahan talks a lot about is this town, Canton, was settled by South Boston, people from South Boston who essentially moved up because they became law enforcement and firefighters. And right, they were turning to these, professions where they were starting to make more money and move up in the world. So they were like a blue collar community that had some money,
right?
And alcohol was a very significant part of the fabric of this community.
Yes.
That's a big part of the story.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. So Daisy Duck sends $2. She is my sister. Yes, this is my sister.
I almost wore that hoodie too.
Really?
I
Then we
took
really
it
would have
off
looked
like 10 minutes ago. Like before I came on. 10 minutes before.
Kid Gracie spends $9.99. Side driveway. So yeah, this is me and you are on this together. Colin takes Chloe to potty. Chloe jumps the fence, which is how she bit the others. She does, admittedly, by Nicole. Because causes hears them fighting. Who is that? Because hears them fighting.
Because he hears them fighting.
Oh, because he hears them fighting. Yes, right. Exactly. The dog jumps the fence because the dog hears
something.
Absolutely. Or senses the aggression, certainly, right? That could have happened, by the way.
Oh, and then he hits his head on the plow. That could have happened too. This is a pretty decent. At one point, I thought that too, that the dog got loose.
Dog definitely. I think that is
ran out when John, maybe John went to go actually walk in, and when John opened the door, the dog flew out, went around the back real quick. So there wasn't a lot of noise. Maybe John ran back to try to get the dog, and it attacked him.
Problem with that, though, here's something else that just gets totally overlooked.
Okay.
Julie Nagel is walking out at the exact time. So, okay, couple of things. This is what happens. Karen and John pull up. Julie Nagel's brother and Heather Maxon, and that whole D'Antano, pull up behind her, right? So when they pull up, two people are in the car, Karen and John. When they pass by, only one is in the car. Karen's by herself.
Right.
Okay. In that time, however, They pull up, they type to Julie Nagel here. Julie comes out and says, no, I'm going to stay here. Jen and Matt are going to give me a ride home. She goes back in. According to Julie, whatever happened with Karen and John happened before she comes out. So, in other words, it would have had to have been, this all happens. John goes in when Julie comes out.
But I'm saying maybe John never goes in. Maybe he opens a door and the dog gets out and runs
but Julie
around.
Nagel's right in front of us. There's no way that everybody misses
Standing
that.
outside?
Yes, Julie Nagel comes outside, talks to her. Remember?
I know that, but but I understand what you're saying. But
there's no way that happens where John O'Keefe is attacked by a dog in front of the house with
maybe it wasn't in the front of the house. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they all ran around the back of the house and she's like, whatever, and just goes to the car. At the time, it was nothing. So maybe the only thing she's lying about is that she saw the dog get out and run around the house. That's all she's lying about.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have been able to be on the front of the house then. It would have had to have been in the back. It couldn't have happened in the front.
True. Could have happened in maybe the garage or something, but
yes, would have. It had to be in a covered area for it to be happening at that moment. But John has beat up. John is beat up. John is not just attacked by a dog.
No, I don't.
His arm is attacked by a dog.
I think you're right. I think that there's a fight.
There just has to be. Like, how did he get glass in his face? So let's figure this out, right? How can a person get glass in their face? She's clear. I mean, look, Karen is very clear. There's only one thing I will say that Karen is very, very clear about.
Is that he takes that glass.
Has a piece of glass in his
nose. In his nose that she takes out. And then when she takes it out, he starts bleeding.
Right.
She's also very clear that he walked out of that car with her glass from her.
Correct.
What is it? Her tonic.
The tall glass. The vodka.
The vodka tonic or whatever. And it's like just in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
So the glass never left his hand. So he's still got the glass in his hand, and
could be
there's a fight, obviously, and then
could be, but no.
He could have tried. He could have tried to punch him in the face with the glass in his hand.
Somebody else could have punched him in the face with the glass in his hand too.
Yeah. Either way. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but I think.
Yes.
The most frustrating thing, it would have been so easy to know. They could have gone back to the waterfall, gotten a sample of their glasses, and easily probably matched it to that piece of glass.
Oh yeah, because that's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah,
right. That is so true. Like if anybody legitimately was investigating this case at any point, it would have been really easy.
The house.
Can you imagine?
If they even flashed a flashlight at the house, they probably would have seen blood on the stairs or something.
No, but I agree with you, Kit Gracie. I do. I think this is kind of the direction I go in. But then we start to get into this whole thing about timing and steps and how many steps. And that's where, I think the defense's second theory for me felt closer to the truth than the first theory. But there's holes in both. But I agree with you. I think that Chloe could have very easily gotten out of the back because she was responding to some kind of an altercation in the front. So I think the twigs between you and what you and Twigs are saying, I'm probably somewhere in there, but I'm open. Like I'm very clear that I do not know what happens in this space. I know that this man is either in the house, outside of the house, but he is absolutely one place I know for sure he isn't. Hit by Karen Reed's car and lying
on the front
with nobody sees for the next 12 hours. Like that just didn't happen.
With enough snow to track a cat.
Yeah. Buried in a snowbank though. I mean,
I know.
Oh my God, bro. The buried in the snowbank stuff gets me crazy.
Me too.
I can't with the snowbank. It's so upsetting. It's so upsetting.
It is.
We the People 7312 sends $4.99. John Keving on side of house. Colin walking down hits John. He hits head on spigot. I did hear this. Somebody, you're not the first person to mention the spigot. That's actually something I've heard many times. Several people have emailed me and told me, I think even that like the cops, like the insiders on the injury was a spigot. Actually, that's something I've heard from a few people That was the rumor in the Canton Police Department. Colin ran Chloe bit, highly pulled off. Oh, I'll look for it again. So maybe it is you that told me this. Could have been, because I've definitely gotten emails on this for sure. On the side of the house, Colin walked down, hits John. How and why? Did you tell me? Hopefully you told me in your email to me. I don't know if you missed me saying earlier, I am getting back to people now. Like, I couldn't get into my email. I was locked out for a minute. So I'm getting back. I've spent the last 2 days just like hitting email. So I'm really trying to go through everybody's emails because I was out of commission for a while, but I will definitely be on the lookout for it. I've heard this before though, definitely, that he hit his head on the spigot. What do we think about this plow story? Are you familiar with this story now, Jackee, about the 4 o'clock in the morning, the closed circuit private plow company? It's 12 o'clock. So we'll do our little tribute. Maybe we'll do the tribute now and then we'll, should we do it now or should we do it at 12:15? What do you think? I guess we could do it now. Happy birthday, sister. Yay. It's
Woohoo.
your birthday. We'll just, pretend like you're 25.
I know.
25th birthday. It's so exciting.
Crazy. Getting old, man.
I know,
Crazy.
right? It's crazy. It's so funny as you get older, you just for me, I actually like getting older because being younger was not fun. It felt
That's very true. That's very true.
It really never felt fun. It just felt anxiety producing for me.
That's true.
Right? It is. Gets easier somehow for me. It's gotten easier as I've gotten older. So let's do our little tribute. We'll do our little tribute to John. And because it is the 4-year anniversary of the death of Boston Policer John O'Keefe, who is why we're all here, right? I mean, at the end of the day,
absolutely,
he is the guy that brought us all together, and has gotten, many of us sidetracked from our lives, frankly, to, try to see justice for him, certainly. So I will I guess I can pull us off. Should I pull us off the screen or should I leave us on? What do you think, Sissy? I'll leave us on?
I was going to say take us off.
All right, we'll take us off.
Just to focus on the
2 minutes.
video. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just give me 1 second here. I'll bring you back in a little bit. Goodbye, sister. All right. And let me hide that. All right, here we go. Here is our tribute video to fallen Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
A controversial case out of Massachusetts has the area divided.
Officer O'Keefe was born and raised right here in Braintree. He graduated from Braintree High School. He then went on to Northeastern University. And you can tell just how much he meant to this community by the turnout we saw at yesterday's wake. Hundreds of people lining up to pay their respects here at the St. Francis Assisi Church. Now, the 46-year-old was found dead late last month outside a home in Canton.
I've never seen so many people, and I want to start crying, pay their respects. He was well loved, well liked by all.
Officer O'Keefe was found dead last Saturday morning, snow-covered in front of this home in Canton. Officer John O'Keefe had been with the Boston Police Department for 16 years. Today, dozens saluted his casket as it was carried into a church in Braintree. The 46-year-old was well respected among his peers, and he raised his niece and nephew when his sister and her husband died.
He put others first. He stepped up when others needed him, and he was the example of what a good person could be.
Okay, first thing you need is the graham crackers. You reach into the bag, and you pull out some graham crackers. Okay, also inside the bag, if you look, there is some chocolate bar.
What are you doing? Kaylee. Kaylee, what are your plans for today? Kaylee, can you hear me? Kaylee.
Okay. I love the little dance. The little dance is my absolute favorite. The little jig he does
I know. I
after
love that
that.
too.
I love
I
that.
love that too.
I really do.
That was good.
So
That was really good.
yes, you know, is what it is.
That was great.
Well,
I know it's sad.
I wish it's so sad, right? It's so sad.
I always think the one thing, you know, what really sucks is that every day, well, for the past, 2 years, I've really been advocating for Karen Reed, and it's been her face I've seen so much, and it makes me, it kind of stinks that on this day for her, all she wants to do is like crawl in a hole and just wants it to go away, probably, and that sucks. It's like, oh man, it's not the best day, but
Well,
it's a memorable one.
It's a memorable one, certainly. I mean, it's certainly changed her entire life, right? It's just amazing how so many people.
I do hope that it for her turns into something good.
I think so. I think it will. It seems like it's given her purpose. I know it's taken, just from her interviews, taken her a little while longer than she maybe thought to bounce back. But she's been through, I was honestly very not happy. Happy's the wrong word, but there was some relief in seeing her reaction when she came into the public spotlight that first time before the Rotten Mango interview.
Right.
Seeing the emotion, because it was so obvious looking back that she was 100% in defensive mode throughout the entire 4 years, really, until the acquittal. And then your whole life is, okay, now that's over, but not really. And now I don't know what's next. And, you're stuck in this limbo land. But it's clear from her reaction emotionally that, she was experienced a very, very, very serious trauma. And certainly, of course she did. Of course she did.
It's still happening, kind of.
Still happening. Yes, that's right. Yeah, my God. The thing, and my message to anybody who's ever experienced trauma is that that's like the one thing, or not the only thing, but certainly one thing in clinical work that we have a lot of really, really effective tools for. So my hope is that for anyone who's experienced any kind of trauma, even a mild version, that they seek professional help, because that's something that we can do outstanding work with these days. So at Cat Randall, yay, gifted one I Don't Belong Here membership. Thank you so much, at Cat Randall. I love when people gift memberships. It's so exciting. Twigs the Gemini sent $20. The Alberts can't say Colin was outside when they got home because that gives probable cause for questions from cops saying they saw him inside. Keeps them from telling he was outside, and the ability to witness John's murder. That's a really good point, right? Yeah. Well, they tried to just keep, I think the first instinct was, he's not here. He's not here. He wasn't here. He's home with dad. Obviously, it just, the whole story around Colin doesn't hold up at any point, right?
No.
I mean, none of it.
No,
nothing about
none
Colin
of it.
holds up.
No. Like you said, show us some of the evidence that states the other, and
I'm down. I'll believe it. Give me something solid.
Right.
Give me the evidence.
Right. This is all. I really try to base every opinion on anything in life, to be honest, but especially in the world of true crime. I try to look at it with the most open-minded, let me see the evidence and follow the facts as much as you can.
As much as you can. How about the fact that those the news clips, one of the things that going back and looking for the early news clips of this this incident, how wrong, how
The narrative
off
is
the media was within days.
Yep.
Within days, he's in the snowbank. There's a couple of like egregious incorrect. Oh, the hypothermia.
They all were 100 obviously, because Turtle Boy was the only person that would actually listen and then be like, oh my God, because all these big name people could have done that. And really, like, they did afterwards. I guess the rallying of the people was huge. That was huge. That was a big, not just supporting the story, but
yeah. Oh, that brings me to this thing we have to look at. The rallying of the people. But the thing that's really important about that, though, is that Jackee, they put so much effort into shutting Turtle Boy down.
I know.
It's crazy. They put more effort into trying to shut him down, to get him arrested, to find a way to make him guilty of anything that they could to put him in jail, to shut him up. It's crazy. That was way more of a focus for this police department than the murder of John O'Keefe.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, still to this day, they're still more invested in that than they are who killed John. They still think you've got Yuri Buchanan posting on their Facebook pages. Like, are you just like really that stupid? Could you be that stupid? Because to me, that in that moment, I was like, oh wow, this is great. This hopefully Karen Reed's civil team is, eating this up. How stupid do you have to be Yuri Buchanan, who's just been accused?
I kind of love him though.
I know.
I kind of love him.
I do kind of love.
I mean,
Yuri
he won
Buchanan.
the case for us.
He won the case for us. He did. You could say it was Proctor, but really it was Yuri Buchanan, and that's because he was the one that spent 3 days on the witness stand, thanks to Hank Brennan.
From the moment he got up there but there was something about him that didn't make. I don't hate him. I don't know. Can't explain it. I don't like him.
Well, no, but I don't know. I feel like he's very predictable. I don't know how else to say
I certainly don't want to ever get pulled over by him or
no.
I don't want to get pulled over ever. I go 60 miles an hour on the bike. And let me tell you, people, I drive across the state of Massachusetts on a bi-weekly basis forever.
That's very funny.
I live on the pike from one end to the other. Okay. And so I am petrified that I don't want to get ever pulled over by a state ever again.
Funny.
Ever now in this land of time. Imagine
That's so funny. I'm always telling Emily C that because Emily C is local. She like lives there too. So I'm like, she's very much local though. Like she could go to the grocery store and run into Jennifer McCabe someday.
That's awesome.
Is not. It sounds terrifying to me.
Oh yeah, it probably would.
It's very scary. But
there's no way that they don't watch this.
It's courage.
Not like they watch all this content. People probably send it to them.
I'm sure there are some that are watching the content. Yes.
Sure
there are. Yep. All right. I want to play this for you. I want to make sure everybody sees this. I'm sure lots of people have, but I want you to see this. This was on the Testify X page. So this is the Commonwealth Witnesses / House Defendants. This is the story that they are touting. Let me just take this off so you can see it. Here we go. All right.
You! Cop killer!
Wait, let me go back. Whoa, there's a lot here. Let me just get to the beginning so you can see it. All right, here it is.
No, but seriously, it's Eden Carney from Turtle Boy Daily News. I just want to know, were you the one who killed John O'Keefe, or was that your Uncle Brian? Who hit him first? Who hit him with the back of the head with the thing? Are you worried that you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life and that you won't be able to play football at Bridgewater State next year? Really? Love to have a conversation. And why 2 cop killers are up there. Cop killers! That's what they are. They're cop killers.
This
So
is
two
supposed
cop
to make
killers
us
don't like being asked about
inspired
it.
to give them
I
money, by the way.
cannot wait until they go to jail. I'm going to be there, and they're not going to be able to get the camera out of my face then. So they better get used to this beautiful face, baby, because it's coming at you. It's coming at you, John. This might be the end of your lacrosse season, but there's lots of other public events coming up. A Boston police officer was murdered in cold blood, and these people right here, who you're looking at, these people right
Is
here.
that the same sweater she
They
wore on the
covered it
stand?
up. They participated in the murder of a Boston police officer. These are cop killers, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cop killer right there. Cop killer. Cop killer.
I don't see the cross.
That's what you are. That's all you're ever going to be. He's a cop killer. Disgusting.
Great.
Disgusting.
Good for him.
He's a bad person. And Carl is a what's the punishment? Look at him. Carl, why don't you wear your own cap today?
I don't even see who he's following. Do you see who they're following? Who are they walking with here?
Oh, I think I've seen this. It's, who is it? I forget. I've seen this.
I can't see it. I see police officers. I don't see waiting like, yeah, this sucks. But
this is insane.
You killed a police officer and then you did it on a woman who didn't do it.
Oh, there she is. Oh, look at her. They love it.
You see them. Oh, this is the front of that other video, right? This is the beginning of that other video.
Welcome to Lovewood Galleria. Let's get justice for John O'Keefe. We got Brian Elhart sitting in the front.
Oh my God, that must have been awful.
Shout out to you.
Is that
Cough killer, cough killer.
Oh my God, I never saw that. Did you guys ever know? I've never seen that.
That's great.
Colin did it. Look at that. The rubber ducky. Well, Massachusetts State Police, you know, taxpayer money, good work at least getting that guy. You burn in hell for killing John O'Keefe. Today, an expert interviewed for Vanity Fair determined Jennifer McCabe did in fact Google Health sometimes told that I didn't think they would put a killer like this in the Dr. game. Amazing if the feds track Caitlin just in wedding.
Yeah. That would have been smart. They should have done that.
I knew that the motive and opportunity to murder Officer John O'Keefe. You're dead. Okay.
Them doing the walk of shame.
Walk of shame.
Is that Gary Roberts?
Scary, yeah.
Matt McCabe's always smiling.
Well, this has gotta be
The most
intense,
evil
right?
of them
To be
all.
walking through. But how else do you get through?
I'm retired.
Go get off the
I'm retired.
And the hop is getting...
Yeah,
What?
I am.
It's just stupid if that's what they
Yeah,
say.
right. Whatever, you fucking asshole.
So there it is. That's the defending the truth.
That was
group.
good.
Yeah,
I
so
like
they're
that.
apparently starting some series on. They're going to start a series of shows. I don't know, but showing how we all became duped by the narrative that Turtle Boy and Karen Reed collectively came up with
Okay.
to brainwash all of us. That's
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Oh well,
Turtle Boy doesn't. Come on, he's not the kind of dude who's going to waste his time to come up with some like.
So that they don't testify, though. That's the part that I think is my favorite part of all of it, is that this is also that they didn't testify.
Right, and in the end, they really didn't.
No, well, they didn't in the second trial at all.
Only Jen. That's it, and Carrie.
Right, and I don't even think Carrie's like considered a part of that, right? I mean,
no, I mean because she's not.
She wasn't in the house.
Right. She didn't have it. She believes what she's being told as well.
Exactly. Right. She became very, very close to Jen McCabe, which clearly was Jen's role in all of this. And Jennifer, that's what she's apparently very magical at, right? She's got great people skills and has duped all these people. So, enjoy your freedom, I guess. I mean, you so far have gotten away scot-free, and I hope you're enjoying it because you're still alive and free. You're no cops are at your doorstep yet. Right.
Yes, but it will happen, and it could be 40 years from now. But let me tell you, I just watched this one show where it was like 42 or 43 years later, and just out of nowhere, and they basically had all the evidence that they knew it was this guy, but they decided to finally knock on his door. This dude's got a Texas Ranger knocking on his door after 42 years. Like, he woke up that morning, never thought. And then he went with him. He kind of tricked him and just went with him. And then I pretty much never went home again.
That's it.
That's it. That must really suck. So even if it is 40 years, there's no limitation on murder. So no statute on
there
murder.
isn't. And this is a police officer. So
that's why I always say there's no such thing as getting away with murder.
No.
Unless, even if, because things can get flipped, because even in your head, how do you know what they're doing? People are so dumb.
What do you mean? How do you know who's doing?
Maybe 10, 20 years are going by, but like right now, we don't know. The feds could be have this huge case against them.
Yeah.
And the last thing that they usually do is go in and talk to the actual people that they think are involved.
Of course.
So it's like, who knows? And maybe they take their time, and who knows? They don't even live in the house anymore. For all we know, the new homeowners have allowed the feds to come in and do also. How do we know that?
We don't know. No, but I think it's pretty scary that Adam Deitch is running for DA. I think that's got to be scary for them, because as of right now, they know they can sleep at night knowing that Michael Morrissey, his people, and the cops in that office are 100% not investigating them at all. No chance.
I hope they're coming up with their getaway plan. Their Donna Adelson Vietnam no extradition getaway plan.
Yes, well, I think didn't the Alberts, Nicole and Brian, buy a place in Maine? I think that's probably on the list.
There you go.
Yes. So Gail Brennan sends a super sticker, $20. Thank you so much, Gail. Gail sends $5, a fight between John O'Keefe, Colin, and Brian. Oh, wait. I think we got this twice. I think you sent this twice, actually. This was not a repeat. This was the same, but twice. So, and this was the kind of the question we were asking, right? This was the Brian Higgins story.
Right.
Fight between
John,
Colin.
Oh,
and
Brian Albert. The dog was pulled
off by
right.
Brian
So John,
Higgins.
okay, I got it.
All right. So I've heard this before. And I will tell you something about this. I've heard this before.
Why would Brian Albert be getting in a fight? I just don't see Brian Albert as why would he be fighting at all in this?
Because Brian Albert is notorious for beating up cops when he's drunk.
Okay, I can't keep track. I try to keep track, but I lose information in here sometimes.
Listen, it's a lot of information. It's so much. Like it's the fentanyl overdose. I think I did know that about Brian Higgins.
Right, so did I.
Like,
that
was like, how many years ago at this point in my brain it's been since I remembered that book. So no, but that's I've heard this. I have no idea what would have started it. It's a great question. And especially what would have started it so quickly. I mean, that's kind of the problem with anybody but Brian Higgins being the aggressor. Because if we're going to believe that whether it was 12/21 or 12/24, and John walks into that house and within 20 minutes is no longer alive, I mean, why would that happen if it's Brian? Why would that happen? Why would Brian Albert be the one that starts that? I could see Colin Albert starting that and then Brian getting involved.
Maybe, yeah.
right? Just to get his nephew out of trouble. And then the dog gets involved because these two are involved. Certainly. I mean, if Brian Albert is in a fight at his house, his dog is going to get involved, period. No question.
Yeah,
This was
of
not.
course.
So one of the things that the Melanie Little interview with the dog trainer, who the defense was going to call potentially to the witness stand, I always forget his name, but you guys will tell me in 2 seconds. He was so good. If you haven't seen the Melanie Little interview with the German Shepherd dog trainer, whose name we're about to find out, because you guys are amazing and always know. Garrett
love
Wing,
it.
thank you. I knew it.
Yes, Garrett. I knew it was Garrett something.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. See, Brian Albert loves to fight. Absolutely. And that's the thing. So did Colin, right? Like both of them love to fight. And that's the thing. So Garrett Wing, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It was so informative. First of all, if you like dogs or are even interested in dogs and you know nothing about this case, it's informative and interesting because what Garrett Wing looks at this bite pattern and he says, number one, this was not a trained German Shepherd. And I can tell because trained German Shepherds know not to make these marks. Trained German Shepherds know that they're trained to grab once and do not let go. In fact, they're trained not to let go even if their owner is telling them to let go. Like they're trained, they like basically beat them up to not allow them to let go. Right?
That makes sense.
So he was also telling us that they use male dogs, not female dogs for most of the time. Police dogs are male, not female, because the women get trauma, eventually have PTSD from it. So it was. Okay. I'm telling you, it was very, very interesting. And he could tell that this was a not trained dog, and he was saying that a German Shepherd is so aggressive in their DNA that even if they had never, ever gone after anybody ever in their entire life, all of a sudden one day, the neighbor could knock at the door and you open it and that dog, for whatever reason, just comes out and jumps and attacks and bites. So, it was really interesting listening to the dog trainer.
But we know this dog in particular bites people. I mean, we already know that.
Yeah, of course. Yes,
and other dogs. We don't even need that information.
Right, like, that's right.
This isn't the nicest cuddly German Shepherd on the planet, and that's what everybody was saying.
Totally. At Cat Randall sends $2. The 4, does that say like legends? I care about just saying to not much. Just the 4 leagues I care about just saying to not much. Somebody tell me what that says. The 4 letters I care about, just saying to not much. I don't know what that means, Kat. You got to help me with that. I don't know what that means. The 4 letters I care about, just saying
to not much.
The 4? I don't know. I'm not sure. Celine the Bean 4 sends $1.99. RDT post says Brian Higgins' sister unalived herself. Oh. Well, thank you. I know I'm like slow right now. I know I have a lot of getting caught up to do, so I apologize. Oh, twins!
Thank you! Yay!
And remember for 6 months. I cannot believe that's crazy. It's crazy. Happy birthday, Jackie! Bite my bits $5. Please Google tactical medic stretcher. Oh, then watch CPT.
Oh, that's
footage.
Interesting.
They knew how to minimize trace evidence transfer, how to move dead weight. Oh, I will, and I believe you. I absolutely believe you. I think that these guys knew what they were doing. I mean, I really, really do. Yay! Blondie Bell, 1011's a new member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jackie. Oh, hello, Vince. Jackie, besides asking which daughter he loves more, what is the best personal question to ask Mr. B on Monday? Serious question. So Dad is joining us, I think, on Monday. God. I'm going to find out tomorrow.
I was going to say, when is that happening? I knew that was coming.
I think Monday.
Vince, it's okay. Monday. It's okay if he says Sam.
It's okay. He says Sam.
Yes.
He's gonna just deflect this question.
Of course.
Probably he'll be like the cat.
No, he's gonna say
I don't know.
no. He's gonna say this. He's gonna say.
Mhm.
So in his world, he's going to say he has 4 daughters, right? And that he's gonna spread it. It's all equal. That's what he's gonna. Something like that.
Right. That's
Right.
that's the
Right.
what diplomatic way to
Yeah.
answer the question. Probably.
Yeah.
We're meeting tomorrow night to have a discussion about
That's
it. So
gonna be great.
So we'll.
I
keep
bet
you
you Vince
updated.
is gonna lose his mind though.
I know. I know it. Yeah, we'll talk about it later. So when Jilla
Maybe you should
Adelson,
have Vince ask about our mother. That might be a good topic.
that's a great idea. So there's like a list of things, so I keep trying to
just think
explain
it would
to
be
people
funny
that,
to
like,
see what he'd say.
no,
you
so
know?
our father.
Then you got to
is
have
not-
mom on to rebuttal.
No. So this is pulling a
Don't
plug
worry, I
on
got
this
you, ma. I
discussion.
got you, ma.
No, nobody understands that. Like, we don't have a normal father. Like, people think they know what that means, but they don't. And I just don't know how else to say it. So I just try not to get too involved in the conversation because there's no way to explain that easily.
Okay, sister, give me one sec because
Yes, go
Sloan
ahead.
is crying. All right, I'll be
Oh,
right back,
no.
though.
Okay,
I'll
go
be
ahead.
back.
Okay. Wendy Jill Adelson sends 199. Jackee Sam said, "You have the same taste in men." Nope, we don't. Absolutely not true at all. She'll tell you though. I'll let her answer that one. I'm trying to think, do we ever have agreement on attractive men? I don't think so. We the People 7312 sends 499. Sorry, Colin walking the dog. Oh, okay. Sorry, Colin walking the dog, John peeing on the side of the house, words exchanged, hits John doing belt, hits head on the spigot, Chloe bites. That's pretty interesting. I mean, I certainly could see that. Sorry, Colin is walking the dog, John is peeing on the side of the house, words are exchanged. He hits John. Chloe bites. Piggy pulls the dog off. I mean, certainly I could believe this. Certainly I could believe it. Yeah, I could believe it. I mean, this is kind of like, how else are we getting all these things happening at the same time? We know we have to get Chloe and John together in space and time, obviously physically, right? We know we have to get the gash on the back of his head. And we know that Colin is there, certainly. It makes sense that Colin would be the impulsive teenager, right? Maybe I'll pull her so she doesn't have to. Right? Colin would be like the impulsive one, the one that does not have the ability to control himself. So it's almost, to me, the fact that Brian Higgins is pointing and trying to get John to come to from the waterfall to the home, right? That gives him a motive, but it's almost equal to the level of drunk impulsivity that we already know Colin exhibits. To me, they could end up being similar. Like, he just does not have impulse control. And by the way, apples, and I'm not saying that Chris Albert is a bad guy at all. I don't think he's a bad person. But he also, as a young man, didn't have any impulse control and obviously didn't do well with alcohol. So, and it's really true, you guys. It is really true. I can't stress this enough. I have tried with every fiber of my being to rule Colin out of that house. I have tried, and every time I try, something happens. And I have no choice but to bring him back into the fold. That's the only way that I can't get him out of the house. I have tried. But when I went through Allie's testimony, I don't ever want to do that again. That was a little traumatizing for me. Being so in her head and really seeing what was happening was a little traumatizing for me. I don't really want to ever have to do that again. But it definitely in my own mind and soul, became real clear real fast that she did not take him off that property. So as far as I can tell, he's still there. And until there's evidence otherwise, he's still there. There's just no other way around it. Blonde Bell 1011 sends 199. Thank you so much, Blonde Bell. Heel Toe. Rhonda B57 sends 999. Heel Toe. I love the boxing gloves. Oh my god. Isn't that the cutest? Don't you love it? I just love watching the little heel toe. It's so interesting hearing different versions of how people interpret it. I am not, a male fighter. Like I've never been in a fist fight with a man at a bar drunk. So I don't know what to make of that little dance, but certainly lots of people have told me that it is like the little like let's go dance, I guess. Like in other words, like I'm getting ready to fight. The only problem with that for me is the way that how about the fact that John walks into this bar and he goes right to Brian Higgins and he gives him this big hug. It is subservient too. It is like he is like, right? Like somehow there is this exchange of like, subservience. I don't know how else to say it. But it does definitely read that way. And it's interesting because certainly he did mention it to Karen. There was some awareness somewhere in John, the back of his mind, that Karen had some kind of an exchange with him. Sarah Curelop 7371 sends 999. You watch Dreams Feed Media Data and Analysis Playlist. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Dreams, I've never heard of that before. Dreams Feed Media. She has some good answers to some of your questions. Miracle of 34 Fairview. I will definitely take a look. If somebody can help me with a final answer on this 12:21 time, 12:24 time, that would be so helpful. I'm serious. I'm really going to have to go through and compare the two data sets because when I look over the one data set, yeah, it makes sense. And then I look over the second data set and I'm like, yep, that makes sense. And then there's the one wild card, which is we are told by the defense and by Jennifer McCabe and by Julie Nagel, I believe, that the text message that Julie's brother sends to Julie in the house is at 12:23. So that's another variable, but nobody's actually seen that text. So we don't know that for sure. That would also help settle it. So I've got my little list here. Hi, Sissy. Welcome back. How is she? She okay?
Yeah, she's good.
Okay.
Sorry about
WLA
that.
1RMC11 sends 199. What about the pike in the puke in his boxers?
I know. I was like, what?
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's the other thing that gets me mad when I think about Proctor and Buchanan at the hospital because they actually tell us, he's telling us, oh, I think there was vomit. It was all wet and there was vomit. It's like, oh, okay, genius. Well, explain it to us then, how the vomit got there. Like, how did the vomit get there while he was knocked out of his shoes? Right?
So he got hit by a car and then vomited and then dragged
exactly.
and then smacked his head back on a flat ground.
That's what happened. Yes. He got
so ridiculous.
Jumped out of the air and
that's right.
out
of the shoe. Right. Out of his clothes.
It's just so. And then you bring in Trooper Paul to explain it all, which was really helpful. Thanks.
And
for
then
that.
a dog doesn't attack his arm.
Right. No, the tail light leaves that mark.
There would be so much obvious DNA right in front of your face, like screaming at you, if that was the truth.
There'd be tail light.
There's that too. In the sweatshirt.
Yeah. In the arm.
Yeah. Totally. To the point where wasn't that what Brennan tried to get away with, making the jury think that it like the glass poked holes or something? When it was the other people.
It was he tried to convince them that it was gravel on the shirt.
Oh, gravel.
Road
gravel.
rage.
That's
like
right.
Road
yeah, I remember.
God.
That's crazy.
Talk about desperate, right?
I know.
He was like so desperate that he tries to essentially, what was he going to get that over on Bob Alessi, like, what, seriously? Really?
I know, right?
He's just stupid. Ugh. Blonde Bell, 1011, sends 199. Do you think his niece, nephew will want to know the truth? That is a great question. I was thinking about that the other day. What do you think? Do you think so?
Do I
think they'll want to know the truth?
Yes, I think, well, yeah. I mean, as they get older, their minds are going to change. I'm not saying, oh, their minds are going to change, so they're going to believe that, but naturally, if imagine this was us, this is now the second like set of parents essentially that these kids have lost as teenagers, and they're only teenagers. So as their mind develops over time and they start to get their own mind back, and they're not still kids being solely influenced by adults around them, they're going to come up with their own conclusion, whatever that is. You know, it's just going to differ because the conclusion they have now is just made up of other people's opinions, I feel like, because they're just young, and they're being a lot of stuff they're probably being totally sheltered from. They get to choose what people are choosing what they're being told.
Yeah.
And as they get older and stuff, and they might have inside information that they can one day piece together because they are so especially the niece. She might remember something that maybe comes back in the end and matches up something. You know, it's going to take a lot in time, but I do believe that eventually they will come up with their own opinion that maybe differs from.
Listen,
but not anytime soon.
If there's a big movement of people out there that are still, when they're old enough to be distanced from the family physically,
or to just even have their own enough.
No, there has to be. There's gonna have to be physical. This is too strong. There's too strong. This is the problem with Canton. This is the whole problem with this town to begin with. The problem with
they
this
have
town,
to get out of there.
They have to get out of there. There's no other answer. They have to get out of there. You can't escape it. Physiologically, when you lay eyes on people that you've known since you were little, and kids you went to high school and kindergarten with, and cousins that you've been cousins with your entire life, at every holiday, everybody gets stuck. You cannot escape it. It is impossible.
Okay, but here's a theory. So think about, she was what, like 14, and think about what you would have thought at that age to reacting to the way that Karen was reacting that night.
Okay.
Compared to how you would think now. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that she, as an adult, she may look back on the way that just the behaviors, because I think that's what makes her so convinced, is that she just believes her own, and like that's probably her defense. But people probably say this to them all the time, that they're just being brainwashed, and they're probably defensive, and they probably say, no, I have my own conclusions, but it's based on, I mean, they don't know anything about being in relationships. They're children. They don't know, so they can't say, they don't know anything. So as she gets older.
The problem with that, though, is there's a whole nother problem. What are they going to, this is the only family they have. This is it. That's it.
I just mean as, like, I'm talking when, like,
what are you
in
gonna 25 do? You're gonna go
years.
Up against your only mother you have? Now you have one mother figure in Peg O'Keefe. You're going to go up against her?
Maybe if they have strong beliefs to protect
Extremely unlikely. You don't have a family. There's nobody else. You're going to go up against Paul and Paul's wife.
We'll see what happens.
It's extraordinarily, I mean,
I
extraordinarily
agree with you.
Unlikely.
I'm not even saying we would ever know, but you'd be surprised. I mean, I've seen it like in other cases where it's taken a very long time, but
it would have to take a really long time.
It would be time. It would have to be due to like developing brain, and then
part of the problem here is that there's a divide. Like, there's nobody in their lives that is on the fence,
like at all, right?
Right. It's just down the middle. They're only around people. I mean, think about it this way.
Yeah.
Think about how scary it would be. If Jennifer McCabe is in your house, let's say she's the one shuttling you to your high school basketball game, right? She's in your house 2-3 times a week. Can you imagine how terrifying it is to then learn that that woman was involved
in it? Yeah.
because that's the problem. It's such a clear divide, and it's so in the same. It's the same reason why, like, I want to bring people on. I want to bring other people with opinions that are very different from mine. I love to do that. But the only problem is, as soon as you go to have a conversation, they start saying, "You're stupid. You're
Yeah, that's
this. You're
true.
that." You know, it's like there's threats that come out within a
That
sentence.
is so true. They get defensive and mean and
threatening.
and
It's like,
threatening
okay,
and
this is
defense. It's just they're. I'm sorry, but they're all like that out in,
Well, that's
in
the problem.
Eastern Massachusetts.
That's the problem, though. It's like, what do you do with that? I mean, one conversation I
don't.
was having, it was every word I would say, okay, well, you just called me a name, so now
And
why should I
incredibly
listen
stubborn.
to you?
Right.
But you're
I just wanna
not
have an open, honest
inviting me to have a
conversation.
conversation, right? You're just saying that, and then that ended in a threat, them threatening me, and I just didn't even. I was just talking,
Right.
You know?
Right. That's what always happens.
I know, it's terrible.
It's too bad.
It's too bad. Yeah. WLA1RMC 11199 says puke in his boxers. Kate Peters first to flip. That's funny.
That's
You
good.
know, I would love to talk to somebody who, like, the reason why I think Kevin Lenahan is an interesting character, right, is like he did flip. He was somebody who was supportive and then went the other way. I would love to know, well, what makes you do that? Like, how do you see it one
Yeah.
way and then all of a sudden completely
I can
backtrack?
probably answer that for you. They just probably chose whatever type of person they are. They probably like them better, or
that's my theory too.
You know what I mean? But really, it shouldn't be about that. It should just be about the facts.
I know. Well, it should be, but life should be a lot of things.
I
But like I
know.
said, part of what makes this so hard is, and I think actually Paul says this in that interview after the hung jury. I think he actually says it in the interview he does with Christina Rex, where she's like, he says it's really hard because our worlds have gotten smaller. Like, we don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you've got people who are just constantly recycling the same information and then supporting it and then insulating them from anybody outside. So you're only interfacing with people who think the same way that you do. And that's exactly how we got into this problem to begin with. That's how we got here.
Yes.
Exactly that. It's terrible. So terrible. This is why cops need to be trained. I mean, there should just, hopefully this case and all these cases, we bring attention to this problem, because this is a very serious problem. Twigs the Gemini sends $2, says Brian Albert likes to fight and was summoning John to. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you something, Twigs. Pretty much, like, the majority of men that I speak to are very, very clear that that's what was happening. I mean, everybody that looks at the two clips that you saw, right? The one where he's pointing, he's going like this, and then John does the dance. Everyone interprets it that way.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I can go either way with it. I can see it both ways. I can see it both ways.
That's probably true.
That it was a threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kit Gracie 199 says, do we think they are sleeping sweetly right now? That's a good question.
I think Jen McCabe probably is. Like,
really?
The McCabe household, yeah. And then everybody else probably not. Maybe Brian Albert.
A lot of Xanax and
yeah.
Ambien.
I know the women. Are like Nicole and Julie.
Yes, Nicole and Julie are sleeping.
You want to know? That's who I think is gonna blow the whistle.
I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah.
Were you going to say it? Because you've said it before that you think Nicole would be the first to.
Yes, to blow the whistle.
To blow the whistle. Yeah. I think that's so interesting. I don't know how you do that though, because that indicts
with absolute immunity, because as long as you didn't participate in the murder, that's okay. They'll give them immunity.
But if it's your nephew and Julie's your best friend, Nicole and Julie are best friends. There's no way, if Colin's involved, Nicole's never going to say anything.
Unless Colin directly was I guess the actual murderer and wasn't just there, then
right. Exactly. If Colin's involved, correct. Assuming Colin was involved in the event. If he's not, you're right.
Then
there's
I
no
would
reason not
assume
to.
that she would go in. They have a lot of power. Somebody who's willing to out this or to give evidence of some sort that this actually did happen, I'm sure that, with the exception of the two Bryans, I could see them being like, everybody else gets immunity or else I'm not doing it.
I don't. You have to have some.
You know what I
Who the
mean?
hell's going to protect you, though?
The police. I'm saying.
What
The
police?
feds, maybe. I'm
right.
talking about the feds, like.
Well, but
about,
the feds
we're
need
not
a
dealing with-
reason to get involved.
If they have evidence, I'm saying if they have like some solid evidence that would.
But I'm saying, I don't know. So here's what I have been told. I don't know if it's true. We need to bring somebody who knows a lot more about this than me. But I've been told that because the only way that the feds can get brought in is if they're invited in, unless it's a police corruption case. Now, I don't know, because Brian Albert and Brian Higgins are law enforcement, does that count as police corruption? I don't know.
You're telling me that she can't just call up the feds and be like, hey, this is who I am. This is the circumstance.
That is what I think.
And this is what the evidence is.
Right. Yep. I think that's right. Now, I don't know that. That's what I think. That's what I've been told. So at that, redhead sends $5. No way Hank and Lally think Karen's guilty. No broken bones on John rules that out. They have all the evidence. They can be that stupid.
They are that
stupid.
They
can. There's
no way.
Can.
Hank, these people aren't.
They are.
They're not trying to set up an innocent woman.
No, they're not.
I'm sorry. You can say a lot of things about both of them.
I know.
All
it's hard
day long.
to believe.
It is very hard to believe, but it isn't for me when I'm looking at Hank and when I'm looking at Lally and then look at Yannetti and Jackson, and then you get it. These are those are men of reason. Those are men that live here on planet Earth. And then they make decisions on an everyday basis in their life based on logic and reason. These other men do not do that.
Right. Right.
So they see things differently. Their minds, their brains, and this is probably a little bit, it could be, who knows, whatever, where did they come from in Boston, whatever neighborhood they were from in Boston, who knows? But I'm just saying, they are looking at the world differently. Not the way that you do and not the way that we do, right? And that's why I know it's so hard, but they can be that stupid. They are that stupid.
And here's what happened. Here's all you need to know. If you believe that there's tail light and you believe that Karen Reed cracked her tail light and you believe that she said, I hit him, any other information that comes in, that it just comes back up to the top. It's like, nope, there was nope. Nope, but there was tail light and Karen Reed said she hit him. That's it. Stories, that's the end. And they just keep doing that. And so it doesn't matter.
They would have kept doing it. If this jury hung, they would have done it again. And then, I mean, think about it.
Again.
Even if
you're right.
Even if at some point along the way, they do say they start to say, oh, maybe she didn't do it. At that point, you're better off riding this out because it's your job. They can walk away no matter what happens.
No,
Hank and Adam Lally, they're gonna walk away with this, and they have this sort of cloak of like, this is my job. I was just doing a job.
Right. No, of course.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I told you they have the family on their side, so it doesn't matter. They feel entitled because they think she's guilty, and if they think she's guilty and the family says that she's guilty, then they were doing the right thing because they were supporting the family. That's the logic.
Exactly.
But this is the problem with this case. To your point, that's the problem with this case is, if you accept certain facts up front, then it becomes impossible to see all the other evidence because you're like, no. Karen's a bad person. Look, she's not emotional. She's bitchy. She's got resting bitch face. She didn't even get upset when John's mother testified. She's making fun of his mother. You start factoring those things in. Then you're like, these are just good, honest cops. They were just doing a good job. I mean, yeah, those texts, but those texts, those were private texts. I mean, we shouldn't have even known about those texts, right? I mean, you just start making excuses for anything that anybody says that doesn't support The taillight is there. It's so easy to just say, of course it wasn't planted. That's what interesting. That's what I saw with Robert Cosgrove. And that was one of the things early on that tipped me off to like, oh, this is groupthink, because he's so smart. He's a smart man. I mean, he's a relic, but he's a smart guy. And he can't believe, like, he believes so much in the prosecutor's office. He cannot believe that they would do anything that's not on the total up and up. He can't believe it. He's like laughing, like literally making a mockery out of the very idea that that Adam Lally could have had a conversation with the juror, with the foreman. And it's like, the fact that he just couldn't even allow that to be true, despite any information coming in, the way he dismissed it so completely, was like, oh, this is interesting. So you have just this like blind faith and allegiance to this office that is going to prohibit you from being able to see anything that comes in after that, right? And that's what a lot of these people did. That's why those reputations of Higgins and Albert was really important, because it just like trumped anything anybody else said. Unfortunately, it's horrible. Happy cake day, birthday, Jackie, yay. So Jackie, somebody, I don't think it was Ricky B, but somebody was asking a question earlier while you're gone, if you and I have the same taste in men.
Absolutely not.
That's what I said. I said, no, absolutely
you and
not.
Vince were talking about that, and I was dying. I'm like,
he
no. Asked, no, wait, what did he say? He's like, do you guys fight? I'm like, no, we don't fight.
No,
we don't fight.
I think he also asked about like if we ever liked the same guy.
Have you ever fought over a guy? That repulses my very thoughts.
It's just
okay?
never.
Let me tell you, don't get it wrong. Okay, first of all, there have been plenty men that that have tried, but I don't think there is a man on the planet that I can think of that we have both even had like
attraction
to.
Four. That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
I was like, is there anyone that we both thought was attractive?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
no. Yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, there are people that we both are like,
absolutely,
objectively, that person is a good-looking person,
right?
But have been attracted.
Speaking of that, real quick.
Yes.
Have you heard of the show Traitors? I'm sure a lot of the people watching know what I'm talking about. It's one of my shows because it has like all my show people on it.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like this dude, y'all know who I'm talking about if you watch this show.
Okay.
Is like literally the hottest guy on planet Earth. You need to just put it on and you'll know what I'm talking about.
All right. Okay.
Look up hot guy on Traitors.
Okay.
I think it's
if
like
I had more time,
4.
I would do it right now, but I don't.
No, y'all, that's somebody that we would both think was attractive. But
I've got a list.
But even attraction, like, no, it doesn't. No. And from my point of view, I have growing up like watching men all around you my entire life, to keep it 100. If they looked at you with googly eyes, then I looked at them like they were my brother. And it never changed. Same with my best friend. The moment that she looks at them, that's it. They forever.
Right.
Forever. It's never. It just turned. There's something about it that is very off-putting.
The dynamic shifts.
Yeah.
The dynamic shifts. Totally.
Absolutely not. I would never do that. I have way too much love and respect for my sister to even consider that. There are a bazillion men on the planet, and I like all different kinds.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's right.
Sam's more like blue eyes and
Yes. Yep. We've already been down this road.
Yeah.
I'm very traditional, and it's clear. You could guess. It would not be hard to figure out.
No, not at all. It is very standard, but that's not to say that you haven't
varied from the standard. Of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yes.
I've just really kind of jumped all over.
You're much more all over the map than I am. Correct. That is right. That is exactly right. And I said this, by the way. This is exactly the conversation that I had the other day, I think, with Vince. At Celine the Bean 4, sounds 199. Use my email, metaphor, frozen, ground blood, and Zamboni. Somebody tell me what this means. Use my email, metaphor, frozen, ground, blood, and Zamboni. Somebody tell me what this
I know
means.
we're getting some really.
I know this. I feel like I need to decone this, Celine the Bean.
I know.
I don't know. I don't. You've got to help me.
Explain a little, just a little.
This out right now.
I know, right?
That's hilarious.
I know.
Sarah Kurlov 7371 sends 199. We thank you, dear. Dream Feed Media, I got it. I wrote it down. I am on top of it. I promise. Twigs the Gemini sends $5. Dead bodies don't bleed. Thank you. Thank you, because the heart has stopped. Proof he was moved. Chloe was probably biting at him after he died. I was looking. So one of the reasons why I pulled that image up was because they were bloody. They were bloody. Like they were that. Ooh. I'm like, I don't know how to say this. I'm a mind person. The body I have like a little use for. That sounds crazy, I know, but I just have little interest in, not use for, interest in.
Okay. Well, with just on that note, if that was true, then the proof is in the pudding that when she pulled out the glass, she said blood started gushing from his nose. So that alone tells you.
He had, well,
right.
no.
Yes.
Go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
That he wasn't dead. He was still alive at that.
I don't know that though, because so that's a good question. We'd have to, I don't know enough about this. This is what we need. Somebody who's a medical training or background in, because if you've had blood.
Oh, okay. So maybe, okay,
right?
That's true. So when it initially happened, he was alive, but then but I understand that makes sense. It's sort of like an in-between stage. There's something stopping it.
Yes.
So, and she said it wasn't gushing blood.
No.
It's just a little bit of blood. Yeah. Because he was dead by 6 a.m.
Definitely dead.
Yeah,
oh,
totally.
Way dead. Yeah.
Totally.
100% dead. Yeah. And they even knew it. I mean, they knew he was dead. Tima Bo sends $5, says, hope not redundant. In new microdots video at 2045, Lexus tires spin in video of Reed's driveway. Does this fit into key cycle analysis you did? So here's the thing with the key cycle analysis from talking to Aussie Insider. And this is another one of the problems with the car data. One of the problems with the car data. So this is my understanding. And again, I'm not a car data person. I'm first to admit it. One of the problems I have with the car data is, so a lot of like when you're doing an analysis of trigger events and such, and I think this came up at the trial, but a lot of that is based on normal driving behavior. Like, how does Karen Reed drive the car versus how I would get in all of a sudden and drive it? So if all of a sudden somebody else jumps into my car and drives differently, that car can register trigger events because I'm using the car in a different way than the person was before me, right? Now, the problem is the car data was zeroed out. So you would expect when you got that car data, however long Karen had that car, 1.5 years, 2 years, however long, I don't remember how old it was, maybe like a year or 1.5 years, something like that. It wasn't that long. Pretty new car.
It was.
However long she had it, the car data was limited. Like there was no history data that was accompanying the car data. And this was part of the problem. Remember when the defense sent their person to go get the car data and then they show up and the person at the police department is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I didn't know you were coming. And of course they had arranged to get the information from them. So to me, it's just this, it's so suspect. Like, why is there no metadata anywhere in this case? Why don't we have the original videos? Why is it copies of videos, right? Where is the metadata? It drives me nuts.
Yes.
The cell phone records for Jen McCabe have a new gray key.
What?
It's so upsetting. It just makes you nuts. It really makes you nuts.
This should be really cut and dry with all the phone data. Yeah, I watch
not because
100
they gave
different
it a
stories
new
a day,
key.
and it's ridiculous. this whole story in general, this whole story, all the phones, everything. This shit's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
It makes me want to like explode.
I know. Any other judge in the world, by the way, none of this stuff should have been allowed in because it was all suspect.
Don't we all want to know the truth, people?
And
Don't
I
we all
remember
wanna know the
that
truth?
there's a video that I think I did with Aussie Insider, I think, where she sort of helps take us. I think she did it with me. She either did it with me or we did it together. Like we did it. And I can't remember. Sometimes I have conversations with these guys and I don't remember what I've said. We said all together or what we talked about. And it's hard to discern. But she and I were talking about how it looks like those key cycles were most likely Trooper Paul's testing. That the testing starts, I think it's key cycle. Oh my God. I'm trying to remember the exact numbers on these key cycles, like 59. Like, what was it? Oh my God. What were the key cycle numbers? I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to look at it again. It was like 1642.
I used to remember you like one of the very first things that you got really into was the key cycles.
And then what I realized was I was only being shown what Trooper Paul limited us to that sheet.
Right.
So that's the problem with that. We only see what he shows us.
Right.
We don't have the
and that's not the
information
whole
from
thing.
before that.
Right.
And so, so if we don't know what happened before that, how can we actually say who had the car and when? And that's part of the problem. The other thing that's a problem with this data, so typically with these telematic systems, you know how they kept telling us that there was no clock, that there was a run clock from the time that the car is turned on, the key cycle starts? Well,
yes.
According to Toyota, there is a clock. We didn't see a clock in Trooper Paul's data, but there should have been a clock because there is a clock. This is the kind of stuff that I mean. I can't trust them. I just can't trust these people anymore. And I guess sometimes you can have too much information to the point where I'm just like, wait, I don't know. I don't trust these people. I don't trust them.
No.
I don't trust them.
Nope.
That's simple. The same, I don't trust them. I think they were willing to do anything to make Karen Reed, guilty because they thought she
thought she did it. Right.
So they didn't care about all the other stuff. They thought all that was smokes. The Google search is a smoke screen. So we're just going to bring in somebody that'll find a way to make it not important. It's so dumb. It's horrible. Yeah. At Jackee VZ13 sends $5. I just got here. We'll catch you on replay. Just wanted to say I appreciate you and love your delivery and all things Karen Reed. Laughed out loud a few times. The JA video. I don't know what is the JA video? What's the JA video? Should I know what that means?
I don't know. Today.
Julie Albert.
There we go.
Sorry,
I was trying. I know. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, definitely.
I'm like,
that's
totally,
to be somebody.
Yeah. The Julie Albert video is funny. Oh my God.
I know.
Sometimes you guys, when I'm making these videos, I'm not like making it and then going back. You're getting what I'm seeing for the first time.
That's
because I'm not going in, right? I'm not
right.
expecting to see that. I didn't expect to see that. I couldn't believe it with her. I went back and actually, I was going to do Nicole. Oh my God. Here's another one.
She would be a good one.
Jack, it's tough to do Nicole because first of all, it takes like 7 hours because you think it's only an hour, but an hour in an analysis is 7. K-Bella 25 sends $1.99. I think if a kid dies like OD, the mom will talk.
That's funny that I was thinking the same thing, like, but about an adult. Like I was thinking if one of the adults like kills themselves or something.
Yeah.
Then like if somebody is no longer with us in some, like maybe if Higgins decides, then maybe someone will talk. I was thinking a similar thing. This sounds to me similar. Like if
I hear what you're saying,
you know
if
what I'm
something was
saying?
happening, God forbid, to Colin,
like their kids are so
kids.
traumatized by all this, and one of them that's very possible. I mean, it's very logical.
My
like, enough
God,
is enough type of thing.
Sincerely hope that does not happen. I
Me
mean,
neither.
God forbid, if something's going to happen to these people, let it be to the fucking parents who put them in this situation. But these poor kids, I mean,
I know
it's so incriminating, but it is, first thing Chris says when he goes on with those girls is Well, Colin was 17. Colin was 17 when this all happened. That's the first thing out of his mouth. Now, it's like somebody needs to talk to him. Would somebody please have a conversation with Chris Albert and be like, look, if you're going to go talk to these girls, you should probably be more mindful of what you're going to say and what you're not going to say. And probably you shouldn't go out. And the first thing you do is talk about your son being, immature. Like, it's not helping you. Okay. It doesn't help. Anyway,
Right.
It didn't help. Right.
No.
It just makes the whole thing sound more incriminating. Like, that's the first statement you're going to make. Not my poor 17-year-old son who didn't do anything wrong. But
right.
He was only 17. Okay.
I know. That was great. That was great.
What does that mean?
I know, right?
But the point is, though, that like he is only 17. He is a child.
And
he
he's
does not
Colin
have
Albert.
the capacity.
He's like the worst. Like, that is the kid if I was his age, I would like totally like roll my eyes out every single time I walked by him in the hallways or heard his voice. I'd be like, somebody shut that kid's mouth up now, please. That's the kid I would like. Awful. Just
he's
awful.
not dealing with this well. I can promise
and he's not.
You that is for sure. Queen of Hots, WA sends $5. Vince thinks Colin left early only because he believes the girls lie. The girls' lies. Snap out of it, Vince. Yeah, you tell him. I don't know why he believes it. He still hasn't given me an actual reason. He says something about text, but it's just, I don't know. I
think also it muddies up the waters too. And I think maybe he's also trying to go with what he knows to be fact, and he's not.
Yes.
I appreciate that he's not going to go on and sit here and accuse in any way, especially like a kid, very, very young adult.
Yes.
The evidence we have against these other two, and especially Higgins, is so overwhelming, like he
From
says.
his view, yes.
So I totally get why he I think it's the right call. Like, I understand from his point of view, because it's a little bit different. He's like, we're trying to do whatever we can to get this guy. Colin Albert whether he was there or not, most likely it wouldn't have mattered. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, but I guess we don't know.
Don't think,
but I understand why he
doesn't trust. He just
evidence. There's not enough
to trust.
Right. We don't really know.
But we just have different ways of thinking about
totally.
Validating evidence is another part of it, right? Like,
he's a lawyer. He's going to look at it from that perspective. He's going to follow the evidence. The evidence is so hard against.
But he's very, very. But you have to be. He's also very, very, very specific about what evidence he follows.
Okay, fair enough. That's true. Fair enough.
We all love Vince, but he can be a little obtuse in his focus.
I feel like Vince.
It's a thing.
I feel like he's like one of our cousins. He's like I literally like look at him like he could be a Conti or something.
That's funny. That's how I look at Mrs. O'Keefe.
Oh my God! Yes.
I think she's Italian. Miss O'Keefe.
Totally, but honestly, the Boston vibe is so incredibly different.
She has that though. Wherever she's from, I think she is from Italy, and if she is wherever she's from in Italy, we have ancestors that are from the same place.
Now that you say that, absolutely, that makes sense.
Yeah. At Queen of the Pool sends $2 from Canada. Disagree. Nicole entitled half pension in divorce.
Okay, that's what most people disagree with me. I just feel like I want for me, I feel like best story for me is her doing it.
I think she gets the pension either way, though.
She does. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she gets the pension.
She gets everything because he goes to jail.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, but no, nobody wants that. I mean, this is like her kindergarten sweetheart.
Maybe she's had enough of him.
She probably has had enough of him, but that's like a long time. You have 5 kids. Like, you don't want your
I understand that
to be in prison.
Of course not.
Right. I don't know. But I'm sure she's not happy about any of it. I think this couldn't have been good for Nicole Albert.
I'm surprised that someone hasn't the trauma has whatever. All of this hasn't already killed somebody.
Well, let's hope it doesn't.
Even naturally.
Psychiatric medication is there for a reason.
That's true. Oh, they're probably all living on Xanax and benzos for sure. All
Some
those,
of them
all
are.
them, all them. What do they call themselves? Those moms? They're just
Soccer moms, the normal
no, the
moms.
regular moms, the normal moms.
Normal moms, yeah.
We're just normal moms.
Oh my God. I am Ted
I am
Sco.
not a normal mom. That is totally
Right.
acceptably okay.
So funny. I am Ted Sco sends $5. John takes off shoes when he goes into the house. Why doesn't this explain? It does to someone who's not Michael Proctor, just not to Michael Proctor. It does to all of us.
Right. John takes his shoes off when he
all
goes in the
see
house.
that.
Right.
Not to him though. Because
In that
again,
house, they had to. Didn't they say that?
the
But
reason
he never
why,
makes it in the house.
well, he would have. John would have taken his shoes
Of
off.
course he would have,
was
because he's
OCD.
John. Right.
Right. Yes. He would have. But I've actually said, I've given this as like a puzzle to people before. I've said, all right, here's the front of this house. If you were a stranger pulling up to this house to go to an after party and you didn't know which door to go to, which of these three doors would you go to? And everybody says the front door.
I wouldn't go to the front door.
Well,
Really?
everybody I've asked says the front door.
They're so uninviting looking. I would assume that.
I'm just telling you what they've said. I don't know which one I would go to.
I guess I
really
don't know. It depends. I mean, was there a light on right like there, and was Jen like? Could you see her like peeking out the window or whatever? They were all like looking.
Who the hell knows? Jen?
Every 5 seconds out the window. You
Yeah, right.
Lights.
Because Jen was staring out the window right when John was hit by the car, too.
Right.
Actually,
Exactly.
to Jen, she was staring out the window at the moment that it would have happened. At Jackee BZ13 sends $2. I'm sorry. Can you remind me of how the feds got involved? The feds got involved because so what happened is Karen and Alan go to Josh Levy's office and they say, here's the situation. We're going to leave you this information. Do with it what you want. And then they leave. And then the feds start looking into whether or not there's police corruption. So they were investigating and brought to a grand jury whether the cops were knowingly planting evidence essentially to support Brian Albert. I think that's pretty much what happened. And in doing that, they got all the phone records, they got all the information that they needed to find out the answer to that, brought that information to the grand jury, and grand jury said no, from what I understand. And that makes sense to me from where I'm at now. I do believe they were guilty of a lot of things, but intentionally trying to make an innocent woman guilty is not on
one
that
of them.
list.
Right.
Right. Incompetence at the highest level.
Yes.
And stupidity, utter stupidity.
Which is why we don't do that type of stuff.
Right, which is why
when you're the
hope
police.
Nobody ever does. Right, exactly. At Twigs the Gemini sends $10. Do you remember they didn't pull the officers' homes? Yes. Yep. Yes. Do you remember that they didn't pull the officer's home security camera because Gallagher helped him install it and it wouldn't have shown anything? He lived on
That was
Fairview.
great. When he was like, "Well, didn't they ask him?" And he was like, "Well,
this was the assistant chief of police.
I can't stand this guy.
That was the assistant chief of police. He was the guy that lived across the street.
Yeah.
Like, can we talk about the fact that
there isn't any ring camera or security camera? On
there was though. Remember, the cops are telling the news media that there was ring camera. I don't know if you knew that. Cops are telling the media right away. According to the police, there's ring camera footage of this incident. Number one. Number two. How is it that nobody mentions calling the police, the chief? One of the things that the Peter Murphy interview, like, immediately alerted me to was the fact that at no point during either trial does anybody ever mention, yeah, I called the chief and made sure the chief came. And the only time the chief gets brought up is when Brian Tully says, well, me, the chief, and Morrissey were on a phone call so that the Canton police could be recused, or no, I'm sorry, in appearance of being recused, not actually recused, just appear to be recused. So that was that. And then when I think at one point, Michael Proctor, it's either Proctor or Buchanan, one of them once mentions that Berkowitz is one of the people involved with one set of taillight evidence. That's it. So you're going to tell me that the chief of police isn't notified like first? Doesn't he get the first phone call?
Who knows? Apparently not.
No, he did, because he's calling Higgins at 6:30 in the morning.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, he got like the negative first phone call.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody talks about that. Langston.
I know. It's so
calling
weird.
Sergeant Good,
so
calling
true.
Gallagher. Right.
That's so true.
Nobody calls the chief of police for 20 years. It's insane. It's so insane. This is where my brain just starts to, blah. We're just supposed to believe it though. Like they can't understand what's wrong with us. We're just, conspiracists.
I know.
It's nuts. At Lieutenant Pez Dispenser Tolly.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Sends $10. I'm with Jackee VC13. Did AJ bring this case to the feds? Yes. I'm sitting here giving you crazy kids all my love. Well, we're giving you that love back. Yes. AJ did bring the case to the feds. That's exactly what happened. It was interesting. There is an interesting, I was going to play, we don't have time. Unfortunately, we're already over time. I have to go. I have to get up so early tomorrow. We both do. But a couple of things I want to make sure everybody knows. There's a very interesting interview that, oh my God, the Glarer does with Grant Smith Ellis. Interesting character, Grant Smith Ellis. I'm still getting to know who that really is and what he's all about. But he does an interesting interview with the Glarer, I think yesterday. Take a listen. One of the things that he says, maybe the most important thing, a lot of it gets crazy. So, after the first 15 minutes, I would say anything after that, I don't really know. I'm just going to say first 10, 15 minutes. That's where I would stop in terms of, what he's saying. After that, I think you lose him a little bit. But one thing he does say that's interesting is that the people with the power are the cops. The Massachusetts State Police have more power than the DA because the DA comes and goes. Now, this DA did not come and go. This DA was there a lot for a long time, for many, many years. So they had like an agreement. They obviously had a working arrangement. From my view, Brian Tully does not strike me as a leader. He strikes me as like the enforcer. He doesn't strike me as like the self-initiated. He strikes me as the guy that needs to be told by somebody else like where to go, what to do, and why to do it. But I would say it's worth looking at. And I just thought of it because you mentioned AJ bringing the case to the feds. He talks a little bit about that. Talks about who all these people are and how they all kind of fit together. So I would take a listen if you haven't.
I think it came up on my feed.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I want to make sure that we got everybody. I hope that we did. If I didn't get to you, I'm looking for you. I always feel terrible when I miss people. It's like, oh no, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. And if you have sent me an email, first off, I want to just thank you because I love when you guys send me emails. I love when you send me your theory of the case. It does really help. I mean, a lot of us are having conversations all behind the scenes and we're sending things to everybody and I'm getting pictures of plow and all kinds of stuff. And it's great. It's very, very helpful. It always is. And so if you haven't heard from me, it doesn't mean you won't. It just means that I'm slow and email is the slowest because I have a huge test coming up, you guys, in 7 days. It's like the biggest test of my entire adult collegiate life. So you'll
be fine, I'm sure.
I might be a little, out of commission for a little bit.
You'll probably be over prepared. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
It's my problem is they're only giving us 4 hours to do it, and it took me 2 days of a practice test, so that's not good. Everybody, thank you so much for your support. You guys are the absolute best. Truly, I cannot thank you enough. Sister, happy birthday! Yay!
Thank you, everybody, for all
so exciting.
Thanks for having me on this crazy day.
Beautiful birthday. I hope you have a great day tomorrow, and I will speak to you hopefully in the morning when the sun is shining.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. Bye, sister. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
It is the defense counselor's duty to protect the rights of the individual, as it is the prosecution's duty to uphold and defend the laws of the state. Justice for all. Only we have a problem here.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out The ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
This is me reminding you to like this video, comment, subscribe, like this video.